this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one. And I walk up, my shadow's only one who walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me.
To decide that the things that I tried were in my life just to get high on. When I sit alone, come get a little known, but I need more than myself this time. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe that we rely on. When I lay it on, come get to play it on, all my life to sacrifice. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, I got your head. Now listen what I say, oh, oh. When will I know that I really can go to the well one small time to decide on? When it's killing me, when will I really see all that I need to look inside? Come to believe that I better not leave before I get my chance to ride. When it's killing me, what do I really need? All that I need to look inside. Hey, oh, listen what I say. I know the more I like to let it go. Hey, oh, whoa, whoa. Deep beneath the cover of another perfect wonder, where it's so white as snow, privately divided by a world so undecided, and there's nowhere to go. Between the cover of another perfect wonder, and it's so white as snow, running through the field where all my tracks will be concealed, and there's nowhere to go. Oh! When to descend to amend for a friend, all the channels that have broken down. Now you bring it up, I'm gonna ring it up just to hear you sing it out. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe what we rely on. When I lay it on, come get to play it on, all my life to sacrifice. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, I got your hey, oh, listen what I say. I see, the less I know, the more I like to let it go. Hey, oh, whoa, whoa. Deep beneath the cover of another perfect wonder, where it's so white as snow, privately divided by a will so undecided, and there's nowhere to go.
have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once. I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just up? I went to a shrink to analyze my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down. I went to a whore. He said my life's a bore. Choke with my white cause it's bringing her down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Grasping to control, so I better hold on. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just
Getting born in the state of Mississippi. Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she was swinging a hammer. Price you gotta pay when you break the panorama. She never knew that there was anything more than gold. What in the world does your company take me for? Black bandana, sweet Louisiana, robbing on a bank in the state of Indiana. She's a runner, rebel and a stunner. On the merry way saying, baby, what you gonna? Looking down the barrel of a hot metal 45. Just another way to survive. Can't let up on man with a gun for the quota. Down in the Badlands, she was saving the best for last. It only hurts when I laugh. Gone too fast. California, rest in peace. Simultaneous release. California, show your teeth. She's my priestess, I'm your priest. Yeah, yeah. California, rest in peace. Simultaneous release. California, show your teeth. She's my priestess, I'm your priest.
Feel the
Sheets of empty canvas, untouched sheets of clay, swirling spread out before me as her body was still. All five horizons revolved around her soul as the earth to the sun. Now the air I tasted and breathed has taken a turn. Oh, and all I taught her was everything. I know she gave me all that she wore, and now my bitter hand shake beneath the clouds of what was everything. All the pictures had all been washed in black, tattooed every day. I'll take a walk outside. I'm surrounded by some kids that play. I can feel their laughter. So why do I sit? And twisted thoughts that spin round my head. I'm spinning. Oh,
If you're not giving your sandwich French's mustard, it may not like it.
That's not French's. No way!
Come on, listen to your food. French's is 100% all natural. No sugar, no artificial preservatives. Delicious. French's all natural mustard. Be good to your food.
Yeah, good morning in that, though. But it is Uncle Lou here. That's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. This is a college football call-in show, and we do it year-round, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. So a lot of you people that like to hang around from September through January should really consider sticking around for the rest of the year. We have a lot of fun on this show 12 months a year. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We'll get to the phone calls here in just a second. I think the phone lines are backed up right now, but the number, if you want to try to get on, is 706-786-4481, 706-786-4481. Yeah. If you're a Patreon member, go to the Patreon page, scroll down through the post, you'll see the other number you can call and get straight to the front of the line. Yeah, facts. The Uncle Lou hotline. How's everybody doing? Some of you I know for a fact aren't doing too well. Some of you have spent the last 3 years gargling Mullenade. Come to find out, shit's rotten. How's that Mullenade tasting? How's coming up short on 4th and 30 tasting? How about don't put yourself in 4th and 30? Every weekend, half the teams have to lose. That's just the way it goes. Unfortunately, for a lot of these teams, it seems to be a habit. Florida Gators 2-6 in their last 8 games against the Power 5. Please tell me more about Mullen. Congratulations to everybody that won this week. Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Alabama, Oregon, Michigan State. The rest of the top 10 was off. They didn't have a chance to lose. Their time is coming, though. Their time is coming. Facts. Facts. Hashtag 2021. Shout out to everybody for tuning in. Go Tigers 504, Baylor Man, Methinks, Glenn Kinney, Jerome Pruitt, Tennille, B. Bean, Tiger Baskins, The Rod, Farva, Trent Lawrence, Dan Blackshear, Pizza Woman, Colton, Vic Tube, Adam Conklin, Dwayne RTR, Jason, Young Citrus, Ego 1, The Real MVP, Wilkie, Glenn Kinney, Fish and Football, Savage Dog, Jeremy Garrettson, Christopher McDavid, or Davitt, I don't know. I didn't name you. Ammonia Wilder, Evan William, Matt Gibby, Pet Sasquatch is here, Seth M., Dan Davis, B. Red, Rod D., Trent Lawrence, Noel Squad. Noel Squad, how mad is Miami going to be when y'all push their doo-doo in here in a few weeks? Clint Eastwood, sports expert. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, 706-786-4481 is the number if you want to be on the show. Can't get through on the phone lines, you got something you want to ask me, Super Chat's the best way to do it. It's located directly below the comment section for your convenience. It's also a good way just to support the show. There's also a PayPal link for those of you that have PayPal and don't mind using it. I'll post that link in the comment section now. The mods will repost it every 15 or 20 minutes or so. It's also in the description of the video. YouTube steals half your super chat. PayPal does not. Yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Let's get to the phone lines, though. No one cares what I have to say. I talk plenty. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
A lot better than you, I have a feeling.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I do want to say, first and foremost, thanks for, having the show and then allowing me to call in. My issue is with Dan Mullen. As you've probably seen, I've been on your chat logs a while. At what point does Florida just, say screw the extension through 26 and go ahead and fire him?
Well, an extension means nothing. I mean, an extension is worthless. It's not even worth the paper it's written on. The only meaning a contract has for a head coach in college football is how much it's going to cost a school to fire him. That's it. An extension or a contract through 2026, it might as well be through 2056. It doesn't matter at all. If a school wants a coach fired, Ed Orgeron's under contract how long? He's out of a job. Clay Helton was under contract for how long? He's out of a job. Almost every single coach that's ever been fired has been under contract. So that part of it means nothing. It's just the extension. That's it. Now, when they gave Dan Mullen an extension last year, they did not increase his buyout. That was the deal. We'll give you an extension, but we're not increasing the buyout. You may notice or you may not, but the Florida administration was not happy with Dan Mullen at the end of last season. It had nothing to do with his overall record. It was his antics, his excuse making, his crybaby routines, just his clown act in general. Showing up as Darth Vader, crying and blaming 20,000 Texas A&M fans for that loss. The comments he made after the Oklahoma game, demanding that the Florida administration allow 100,000 fans into Florida home games, and then the next day half his team has COVID. It was a long list of things. So they gave him an extension, but they did not increase his buyout. That way, if they're not happy with what he does, they can get rid of him. And even though they gave him an extension, it won't cost them any more than it did before.
Gotcha. Well, that's definitely going to make Gator fans feel better. So I appreciate that. Yeah. And then my last question for you, everybody says, Dan Mullen's some offensive guru, offensive genius. He, developed Tim Tebow. That's not true. But anyway, so if he's such an offensive guru, why is it either we're running a QB run with, a few 5-star running backs, we're doing a QB run, or we're throwing an interception into triple coverage? Please explain that to me.
Yeah, and, I mean, the reality is Dan Mullen probably is a pretty smart offensive guy, but he's not an offensive coordinator. He's a head coach. And the responsibilities and duties aren't the same. Not every great coordinator equals great head coach. I mean, Will Muschamp has failed at head coaching everywhere he's been. He's an elite defensive mind. There aren't 10 defensive coordinators on planet Earth better than Will Muschamp. And it could be that Dan Mullen falls into that category on the offensive side. Now, I do think he's a better head coach than Will Muschamp, but Dan Mullen's not an elite-level head coach. Dan Mullen is not an SEC conference or national title-winning head coach, and if he coaches another 10 years, that won't change. The recruiting is not there. The personnel decision-making is not there with the quarterbacks going all the way back to starting Felipe Franks 2 years in a row over Kyle Trask. Now the Emory Jones, Anthony Richardson fiasco. It could be that he's just more cut out to be an offensive coordinator. I don't know.
Maybe he can join his buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Mullen is bringing nothing to the recruiting at Florida. I mean, you can finish with a top 15 class. I could go be the head coach of Florida, do no recruiting at all, and finish with a top 15 class. So that's where he's dropping the ball.
That makes sense.
Right.
Well, hopefully he leaves and goes and joins some Urban in Jacksonville. But I'll let you get on to the next call, man. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, good to hear from you. I appreciate you calling in and taking your medicine here on Brag or Cry. But, that was the Florida man there. Or a Florida man. There's several of them. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning, Uncle Lou. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great.
Living a dream as always.
Yes.
Hey, man, just this Tennessee game, it just kind of not going to get into the whole of it, but
Right.
one thing that did stand out to me, and you touched on it earlier in the year, and I think you touched on it a couple times, that they're just going to be bad officiating, bad calls. But I think that justifies what you're talking about, that these officials, the NCAA needs to find out a way to make them full-time. And where I'm going with this is on that 4th and 24 or 4th and 30, whatever that play that sent the crowd into a tizzy. I watched that like we all did several times, and I paid attention to where that line judge was. And there's no way. Again, replay showed he was short. I agree, right? But that line judge was at the line of scrimmage, and when that pass was completed, he ran 24, 30 yards, whatever it was, and went to spot that ball. He was short. It was close, but he was short. But I watched the line judge.
No, I get that, but are you saying that a line judge 20 yards away spotted the ball instead of the 2 or 3 officials that were 20 yards downfield?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know anything about that, so I can't. I don't have any comment on that because I don't know anything about it. I didn't notice that.
No, I'm just saying there should be, again, it's an officiating issue. And again, there's no excuse.
I mean, because there are referees downfield. I mean, I know what you mean by the line judge. The line judge is a specific referee that lines up on the line of scrimmage at the beginning of every play. He looks for false starts and offsides. But there are officials at the start of a play that are already 20 yards downfield. You're saying those officials didn't spot the ball?
They did not. I watched it.
Because any official can spot the ball.
Game.
You know, it's
right.
It doesn't have to be the line judge.
Right, but he was the individual, because I'm thinking, who spotted that? And he was at the line of scrimmage at the top of the screen as you were watching your TV, and as the individual, the receiver, caught it, he ran down the sideline to where he thought, and again, the officials that, like you said, are around the ball, they had the ball in their hands, and he was a half a yard. The individual that was at the line of scrimmage ran upfield and to where he thought the ball to be spotted, and they gave it to him. That spot changed, and again, it's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying that's the issue for anybody. I don't care, and I'm not a Tennessee fan at all. I'm, of course, UGA guy all the way. But yeah, that was just one thing that I saw, and I'm like, that's a huge problem. There's no way that you can see that. And, and again, maybe the officiating, I don't know, but that was just one thing that was on my mind. But the other thing I wanted to touch on real quick is what came out. I think the Kirby had a press conference today where he talked about, JT had 60, 70, or 80 throws with no pain, and with that being said, I'm kind of getting tired of individuals talking about, and I'll give Stetson Bennett all the credit in the world, that somehow JT Daniels lost the starting job. And that's not the case. And if he's throwing the ball that many times without pain, there's no reason that he should see some kind of field time against Florida. You got 2 weeks. So I'd be curious to see what's
I understand what
there.
you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but were you alive in 2017?
Absolutely, yeah.
Who started for Georgia?
Right.
Jacob Eason. Why did he lose the job?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree.
He got injured.
There's precedent.
Yeah, because he got injured and we were 8-0. We were 8, or actually, we were 10-0. We were 10-0, and then we were 10, and then we were 10-1. So this wouldn't be the first time this has happened. But I did hear Kirby's press conference yet. But he also said too that he's throwing the ball 40 or 45 yards. That's not going to cut it, and the velocity isn't there.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call. I've got to move along. I don't believe anything Kirby says about the quarterback situation. The only information I trust about the Georgia quarterback situation is who takes the field when the game starts. That's it. What Kirby says about quarterbacks to me is completely meaningless. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. It's Ole Miss Edward. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Well, I took my first ever trip to Neyland Stadium on Saturday, and
but hell, that worked out great for you, didn't it? What'd you think? How'd you like the hospitality?
Well, It was the
Damn,
most
trash.
hostile environment I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's trash throwing trash.
It was now before the whole trash throwing, the actual atmosphere was incredible. I got to give Tennessee all credit for that. It was packed out. It was awesome. But the trash throwing and everything was ridiculous. One of my friends actually got hit with a bottle someone threw at us. So, but glad that Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss was a winner. That was a little bit of a ridiculous ending. I had a feeling Tennessee was going to fall back.
How'd you feel about the crowd cheering Matt Corral's injury?
That set me off. I was livid when that happened. I mean, part of me was absolutely just in shock that Corral was hurt, because he's the heart and soul of our whole program, and he's a great dude. But these Tennessee fans booing Matt Corral or cheering Matt Corral when he got hurt, absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said multiple times, Nick Chubb when he got hurt in 2015.
Yeah, they booed him too. Or they cheered as he was being literally carried into the locker room.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I got to give all the credit in the world to Matt Corral. He put the team on his back, man. We were missing 5 offensive starters, 2 of our top 3 wide receivers, 2 offensive linemen, our starting tight end, and he did it all for us. And running for 200 yards, throwing for 230 and 2 touchdowns, he can do it all. And I want to give a shout out to our defense, only giving up 24 points to a pretty potent Tennessee offense. I'm not counting the safety against them.
Yeah, it's a shame the game ended that way because it was one of the best games of the day. I spent all week saying I have a feeling this is going to be a really good game, a really close game. It wasn't as high scoring as I thought it would be, but it was still a very exciting game all the way to the end. And it's a shame it had to end that way because, like I said on the video, next year, 5 years from now, and when you're 80 years old and talking to your grandkids about going to that game, the first thing you're going to tell them is about the bottle throwing. That's all anyone's going to remember, and that's a shame. Because that was a really, really good game, and it's a shame it had to end that way, but it did.
Yeah, it was a really good game, and I think Tennessee's a pretty decent team. Hell, you could give that home field advantage they had, give that 5 points in a betting line. It was absolutely electric, and it was. I think at one point they said it got to 114 decibels in the stadium. It was so loud.
Yeah. Now, how big of an Auburn fan are you?
Well, we got to beat the Barn in 2 weeks.
I know,
but
in general, though,
they get Alabama at home.
How big of an Auburn fan are you?
I'm going to be like, remember when Dan Mullen said War Eagle?
Yes. That clown. I forgot about that. War Eagle.
That's going to be me. We got the corn dogs up first. And, hey, I'll leave you with this. Tennessee gave us mustard for the corn dogs this week. So, thank you, Vols.
There you go. That's right. That's a good way to look at it. Hey, thank you for the call. Congratulations on the win, too. That was a hell of a game. Great game. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good mustard, Lou. This is Baylor man.
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing great, Baylor man. How are you doing, though? Are you nervous about losing your coach or no?
Well, here's the thing. I've heard rumors that the corn dogs wanted Aranda back. Well, I'm starting to say that boat sailed, or well, better yet, that corn dog's been eaten.
Oh,
now it's just a stick.
All right. I'll say this: unless if I'm Dave Aranda. Unless I have some huge emotional connection to LSU for some particular reason, to me, it makes way more sense to stay in the Big 12, especially now that Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. I mean, let's just call it like it is. The Big 12 is going to be a much easier league. It already is, but now it's going to be a way easier path potentially to a playoff than being the head coach at LSU or any other SEC team, to be honest. So,
oh yeah,
I find it hard to believe that somebody like Dave Aranda, who just got to Baylor and is doing pretty well there in a short amount of time, would jump ship for LSU.
Oh yeah, very well. Oh yeah, I mean he's gotten especially our defense, up and going. So
yeah,
I mean I don't see how he can just up and leave what he's built so far up.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about a guy like Luke Fickell. Like, Luke Fickell looks like a genius right now for not leaving Cincinnati last year or the year before, because he could have. Now he's going to join. He's going to join the Big 12 and immediately probably be the favorite to win it.
Honestly, I'd say I agree.
And he's going to be able to get a higher caliber of player once he's able to go into a recruit's living room and say, I'm the head coach of a Power 5 team. So Cincinnati, I think, is only going to get better once they move into the Big 12.
Oh, yeah. I think, thing is, he's going to get a lot of those Cincinnati schools to, recruit. He's going to recruit from the Cincinnati schools, and they're powerhouses. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
Especially in big schools.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, I mean, we'll just have to see. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying my win over BYU. And,
yeah, thank you for that, for beating the Bicycle College.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it sure did feel good. And let me tell you, BYU travels well. Their fans were getting on my nerves.
Yeah. Also, that running across the field thing is some silly shit y'all do.
Yeah, it's a tradition that, Baylor started a long time ago. Those are all freshmen that run.
Oh.
That's all freshmen.
It's more than they said it was seniors. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything.
No, they do.
They kept showing it on TV on Saturday, and I was like, look at this. Oh. But congratulations on your win. I'm gonna let you go and move on to the next caller here because the phone lines are backed up. Troy, thank you for hitting the super chat and helping to support the show. He says, prediction on who wins the Big Ten East Division. That's tough. I mean, I don't know if there's a team in the Big East that can go the rest of the season without another loss because it's a tough gauntlet of games because none of those teams have played each other yet. So, of course, you're talking about Michigan and Michigan State and then Ohio State and Penn State. Those four teams all have to play each other over the next 6 weeks. And I don't know. Ohio State looks to be playing the best out of those four right now, especially not knowing how long Sean Clifford might be out at Penn State. Michigan, I think, is the wild card. Michigan State, I think what they've done is good, and I do think they're a good team, but they appear to me to be undefeated by a thread. I mean, they have got some really close wins. I would never call a team that's 6-0 or 7-0 completely lucky. You don't get to 6-0 or 7-0 by nothing but luck. There's obviously some talent there, and that running back is amazing. But of those teams, they've come the closest to losing multiple times. Or, of course, Ohio State and Penn State have an actual loss. But so I don't know. As far as who's going to win it, I think it's a crapshoot. I think Ohio State's playing the best right now, but I think it's possible they all lose a game between now and the end of the season. Bradley Juby, thank you for hitting the super chat to support the show. Jesus Christ Home Slice, thank you. He says, Tennessee's defense was on the field for 110 plays against Ole Miss. May God have mercy for the Vols this week. Yeah, they played the Gumps this week. Bradley Juby says, sending you $5 more for a question. Do you believe in a Georgia sports curse? No, I don't believe in curses or witches or, I've walked under plenty of ladders. Nothing ever happened. If I see a black cat, it doesn't bother me. Whatever else. I don't believe in curses. Don't believe in curses. Thank you all for hitting the super chat to help support the show. I'll get back to the phones here. The Nature Boy, thank you for hitting the PayPal link. He says, I want to hear Santeria by Sublime if you're so inclined. If not, still good morning and that. Hype for the show. We'll play that at the end of the show. I have to try to remember, but I will play that at the end of the show, based on my memory, though. Oh, yeah, good morning, though, and two, and
hello,
also.
Uncle Lou.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Bradley GB from the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Center,
Yes.
journalism student.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the one who asked you the question about the Georgia sports curse, and I'm glad you don't believe in Georgia sports curses because I personally believe they're stupid.
Yeah, I don't believe in
Okay,
curses.
second of all, I'm going to say you have some good taste in music,
Oh,
I would say.
well, you can't please everybody all the time. I have a very eclectic musical taste. I like music of all different kinds, so I try to switch it up on here and not play the same type of music over and over. So, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
Okay. And here's a few questions. Number one,
Yes.
do you think Steve Sarkeesian is going to bolt Texas for an SEC job this year?
I think any Big 12. Well, hell, no. No, who would take him? He can't. He can't win a game. No, I don't.
Yeah, well, because right now Texas looks like shit.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
I'm
mean.
not just
So
saying that
I don't know
because
who
I'm
would
a
want
Duke
him. I
fan.
mean, right now there's only one opening in the SEC, and I'm pretty sure LSU doesn't want him.
Yeah. Well,
And I don't think there'll be any
that's
more
another
openings either
question.
because some of the like South Carolina's terrible, but their first year head coach. Vandy's terrible, first year head coach. Mizzou's no good, second year head coach. Now Dan Mullen may quit. He may throw the towel in, and then Florida may be looking around for somebody. I don't know. Outside of that, I really can't think of anybody who would be looking for a coach. I mean, Stoops ain't going nowhere at Kentucky. Kirby's not leaving. Saban's not leaving. The guy at Auburn's in his first year. Sam Pittman's not leaving Arkansas. Mike Leach at Mississippi State. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. I honestly, if I had to bet right now, I'd say there are no more openings other than LSU. And no, I don't think Sarkeesian's getting the LSU job.
yeah.
So he'll be at Texas.
And
next
another
year.
thing is that right now Texas is not looking good because they just lost 2 straight double-digit leads to both Oklahoma, OU and OU.
I know their defense is
preaching this
almost as
all-gas,
bad as
no-break
Oklahoma's.
mentality.
Yeah, their defense is horrible.
Yeah, they're preaching that all gas, no break mentality.
Right.
Bullshit. They just blew 2 straight leads
Yeah.
against teams from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, it
Okay,
seems like
second
that
of all-
offense. It seems like what's happening is the defense is wearing out in the second half. That's the problem with running these high tempo offenses. Look at the Ole Miss Tennessee game. Neither one of those defenses could stand up in the second half. You run them high tempo offenses, it wears both defenses out. It wears your own defense out too. I mean, that's great. That's great that you can score in a minute, but that means your defense got a 1 minute break. You know what I mean? It's dangerous.
Must say something about the conditioning at Texas. They need some better conditioning.
Maybe. I mean, it could be it because they're not, they've played well in the first half. It's been in the second half, like you mentioned, the last 2 weeks, that they've just totally collapsed. So you may be onto something there. Now, of course, It could be worse. It could be where they suck at defense in both halves, like Oklahoma.
Well, unfortunately, we have had our lackluster performances even in victory. I mean,
Right.
5 of our 7 games we've won by only 2 digits, and our TCU game was our first win against a legit team by double digits. I mean, our last double-digit win was pretty much a high school team.
Have you given up more points in 3 separate games than Georgia has given up all year?
I might say yes.
I think so.
I'd have to do the math.
Yeah.
My other question is, how long do you think Josh Heupel will last in Tennessee?
I think they ought to give him 4 years. I mean, I know people don't want to do that anymore. Miami's looking to get rid of Manny Diaz already. But it's hard to say. I mean, I do think Tennessee has looked better at times this year than they've looked in the past, and this is just year one, so his record this year really doesn't matter. Now, next year, he has to win a game like the Ole Miss game. I think you have to show some improvement, you know. He's going to go 6-6 this year, and that's about what people thought. Some people thought 5-7. Some delusional Voltards thought 8-4. I think getting to a bowl game this year is a success for Josh Heupel. So it's hard to judge him off of what he's done so far in terms of answering that question about how long he'll be there. You know, I would say at least 3 or 4 years, though. You got to give him that. You got to let him get 3 or 4 recruiting classes.
Yeah. And one more thing, I think the Tennessee-Alabama matchup this weekend. Now, if I remember correctly, he was the offensive coordinator at OU during the 2013-2014 Sugar Bowl, which, of course, he was the offensive coordinator of when we beat Alabama. I just wonder what his game plan is going to be going up against Alabama on Saturday. If he's going to use that same game plan, or if he's going to do something different, or
I
it's
think
not going to even matter. Because
I do think – well, I think if Hendon Ho can't play, and I'm hearing that he can't, first of all, whatever chance Tennessee might have had to even keep this thing close is out the window because it's going to be the Joe Milton show. And I think Tennessee, instead of running 90 plays like they did against Ole Miss, is going to run about 50, and 35 of them are going to be running plays. I don't think they're going to get out there and try to and let Joe Milton throw the ball 45 times. I just don't see that happening.
Well, anyway, that's what I was wanting to talk to you about today. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Good luck to your Sooners
morning.
the rest of the way. A lot of people had Georgia and Oklahoma in the preseason for the national title game, and so far, at least, that possibility is still alive. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
The man of Georgia.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
The man of Georgia. How are you doing, Uncle Lou, sir?
I couldn't be doing any better. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Always good to talk to a Georgia man who is a college football man like myself. I tell you this, Lou, I'll keep it brief. You know, I can tell you something. I'm a Florida State fan, but I can tell you it breaks my heart to see how Florida Gators football has gone completely in the trash can under Dan Mullen.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't understand for the life of me, why is it? Now, I think as you mentioned before, I talked to a lot of Florida fans, and they can see it. Florida fans are ready for him to go like yesterday. They're sick of it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the alumni, the big money people of Gators organization, they're just keeping him around. And I can tell you, like last year with Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitt,
You there?
he wasted them. Yes, sir. I'm still here.
I hear you. Yeah. I mean, last year he had a loaded offense. No doubt about it. A loaded offense. And almost beat Bama in the SEC title game. You know? But first of all, he didn't recruit the majority of those players because, well, he doesn't recruit. They were there when he got there, most of those players. And I don't think he can even replicate what he did last year again. I really don't.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know, Lou, Dan Mullen, basically, he got fortunate because he just had a good roster. And to be honest with you, as far as a lot of people are concerned, he underachieved with that roster he had. And if a lot of Florida fans are telling me that if he loses again to Georgia, which I can guarantee you is guaranteed, Florida's not beating Georgia this year, they're probably going to start calling for his head and calling for his resignation. I don't know how true that is, but if he loses to Georgia, as I know he probably will, he should be.
Yeah. Well, and I know if he starts Emory Jones again and they lose, the fans are 100% going to turn on him. They're so sick of Emily Jones. They're starting to feel about Emory Jones like Tennessee fans felt about Jarrett Garantano last year. They don't even want to see him anymore. Even the Florida media, I listened to the Dan Mullen post-game press conference after the LSU game, and even the media is basically telling him, Dan, What is it that you see that the rest of us don't see when it comes to Emory Jones? Because to everyone else, it just looks like Anthony Richardson is way better. Like, even the media is just straight up, like, basically telling him, you're starting the wrong QB. And he's just hard-headed and won't admit it.
Well, you know what? That'll be his job, and maybe it needs to be. I can tell you this, Lou, you were right about Spencer Rattler. Now, I guess you could say your prophecy has finally come to pass, and he's just basically been shipped out of Oklahoma. He's entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, I tell you, if I was him, I would be looking at Ole Miss because Matt Corral is gone after this year. And as far as I know, the second-string QB at Ole Miss is a true freshman. And maybe he's good, maybe he's not, I don't know. But a guy like Spencer Rattler under Lane Kiffin, I mean, that would make some sense to me. I don't know that he'll – it may be that Spencer Rattler's just not any good. I don't know. But sometimes people just need a change of scenery. But we'll see where he ends up. But, yeah, I don't think he's staying at Oklahoma.
And lastly, Lou, I'll tell you this. As a Georgia man yourself, I got a lot of friends who are Georgia fans. And as time is going on, more and more of them are lamenting what they have with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to a lot more Georgia fans who are saying, you know what, looking back at it now, a couple of years have passed now, and we really should have started Justin Fields over Jake Fromm. With Justin Fields with DeAndre Swift and Elisha Holyfield nodding those receivers, things could have turned out perhaps so much more different as opposed to Jake Fromm being there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if Kirby can find a way to win it all this year, I don't think the Justin Field jokes or the what ifs or the what could have beens, I don't think they'll ever completely go away. But if he wins a national title this year, that will quiet some of that crowd, I think. But
well, at this point now, Kirby, I think because of that Justin Field scenario, a good friend of mine, he's a Georgia fan. He said Kirby almost has to win a national title now, because if he doesn't, that Justin Field fiasco is just never going to go away.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. I for one, am never going to let it go. And like I said, if he wins a natty now, that'll make me a little bit less bitter about what could have been. But I still think that was a mistake of historic proportions. Hey, buddy, thank you for the call. Florida State's starting to turn things around a little bit. I do think Florida State's going to beat Miami, by the way. I'm not just saying that to troll Miami fans. Right now, Florida State just appears to be playing better football than Miami. I think Miami might be getting ready to cash it in for the season, to be honest, which is what they normally do. Is what they normally do when things get bumpy down there anyway. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Lou. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I am well. I've been kind of busy this week. Hadn't been able to catch everything. I'm going to try to catch up on it. But I'm not 100% sure how you feel about Cincinnati. And number one, I think this year Cincinnati probably has the best shot of any year to get in the playoff. But if they get in the playoff, how do you feel about them? Do you think that they would be competitive?
Well, obviously the matchup is going to have a lot to do with it, and we have to keep in mind. Let me play out a couple of different scenarios here. Let's say no matter who Cincinnati gets matched up with, they get blown out. Well, people are going to come out and say, "See, Group of Five had no business in the playoff." Well, every first-round playoff game has been a blowout since the playoffs started, except for two.
Yep.
So that in itself won't really prove anything. Let's say Cincinnati loses in a first-round playoff game by 21. There's been 7 or 8 playoff games that were worse blowouts than that involving 2 Power 5 teams. So I don't think that in and of itself would prove Cincinnati didn't belong. And I think depending on the matchup, it's possible Cincinnati could win a first-round playoff game. I do not think they could win the next week, no matter who they ended up being matched up with. I think that is a bigger difference in the Group of Five versus Power 5 than – we've seen before. You take like a Central Florida, you give them a month to practice, they can beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl. Cincinnati almost beat Georgia in the Peach Bowl last year with a month to prepare. So I think it's possible they could be competitive in a first-round playoff game and maybe even win, depending on the matchup. I do not think, because of depth and because that they're just not used to playing 2 games like that back-to-back, I find it hard to believe that a team like Cincinnati or any group of 5 team could win 2 of those games in a row, which, of course, is what it would take to win the national title.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you on that. Football's about matchups too, and we know that. They may match up against somebody, but and I'll go ahead and say, I think this year it's Georgia. If somehow Georgia can't pull this one off, for Kirby Smart's sake, for the sake of the Georgia fans, I think this one would be the worst year. Because I think right now Georgia, and I've said it since before Alabama lost, since before, early in the season, I thought, even coming into it, the end of the season last year, people were talking about the hottest team was Oklahoma, but I thought Georgia, I was like, I would not have wanted to play Georgia at the end of last year and then coming into this year. But with that being said, we go to, I asked about Cincinnati. The playoff, seems like the playoff committee tries to get the 4 best teams in.
Yeah.
And it seems like the AP poll and everything tries to, they kind of rank things in the most deserving. Like, I think Cincinnati's going to tumble down a spot or 2 when the first playoff ranking comes out. I just have that feeling that they're going to kind of look at things and say, okay, yeah, they even if they're still undefeated, of course, they would have to be at that time for this to matter. But I think they're going to look at it and say, even maybe a 1-loss team at that time may slide above them, because I just still think the perception, and I've never in the beginning I did not want to expand the playoffs, but for this reason I think it may make things a little more interesting. It may give a spot for those teams to get in and have their moment and everybody cheer and be happy. But like you said, I don't think they can compete on a 2-game basis, like you said, or especially not a whole season basis. I mean, we've even seen them have their rough patches this year, and if that had came against some of these teams, some of the middle of the road SEC teams, if they would have had a bad week against like an Ole Miss or somebody like that, I don't think they would still be undefeated.
I'll tell you this too about expanding the playoffs. A team like Cincinnati this year that gets into a 4-team playoff has a way bigger chance of winning a national title than a group of 5 team that gets into a 12-team playoff. Because then you got to win 4 games in a row, and there's a 100% certainty that that's not happening. They don't have that. There will be injuries. There will be people banged up, and they don't have the depth and the talent on the second level, second string like top 10 Power 5 teams do. They just don't. And so, like take last year, for example, Cincinnati would have had to beat, in theory, Oklahoma in the first round because Oklahoma didn't get in. So Cincinnati versus Oklahoma in the first round, and then say they win that, okay? Then they got to play Clemson. Say they win that, okay? Then they got to play, let's see, who else was in? Alabama. I mean, that's just never happening for a group of 5 teams. So Cincinnati getting in this year in a 4-team playoff gives the group of 5, I think, the best chance to ever win a national title, because I definitely don't see it happening when you're looking at a group of 5 that would have to win 4 games in a row.
And that's why I like the way things were. I hate change, I guess. I'm one of those guys. I like the way it was before the playoff. There was something to talk about. Sometimes the best team got left out, but you better be ready to play every Saturday, and every game mattered. But I want to switch gears again. JT Daniel, I just want to tell you what I saw. I think JT Daniel's healthier than I went to the Auburn game, the Georgia-Auburn game. I'm an Alabama fan. My wife's an Auburn fan, but we usually try to go to one Auburn game a year, and that was the one I wanted to go to. We sat down by the end zone. He went through all the warm-up reps. He looked like he was ready to play. He didn't look like he was really hurt that bad. A lot of times, I think with his lat injury, they talk about maybe him not being able to put in. He was putting a lot on the ball. He was making the deep, long throws in warm-ups. He was torquing his back a lot. I mean, I didn't see anything that let me think that he wasn't ready to go if they needed him.
Yeah.
And maybe they're sitting on him But I think as this thing has went on, he may just lose his spot the way Kirby thinks. Kirby's a guy, he's really about being comfortable and taking it, not risking anything. And I think the longer this goes on, the more risky it would be to move, to slide on back to JT if things are still going well.
I'll be honest. I think it's possible Georgia could win the national title with Stetson Bennett if he continues to play like he's played the last couple of weeks. Now, the defense is going to have to continue to perform at an all-time level. We would have to get some offensive guys back at the wide receiver position. I do think it's possible we still could win it with Stetson. I think JT gives us a much better possibility. And here's the problem if you're Kirby Smart. He has made what most people think are two pretty big quarterback blunders that have cost him probably 2 national titles already, specifically over QB decisions. So if he makes the decision to stick with Stetson Bennett and Georgia doesn't win the national title, regardless of what the reason is, people are going to say it's Stetson Bennett because of Kirby's track record, and he's got a tough decision to make. I believe you should play the best player, and I just think JT Daniels is a better quarterback than Stetson Bennett. I don't think Stetson Bennett's terrible. In fact, he might be the best backup quarterback in college football, or him or Spencer Rattler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he's a backup. There's a reason that JT Daniels was the starter at the end of last season. There's a reason he was the starter in spring. There's a reason he was the starter in fall, summer camp, fall practice. There's a reason he was the starter in week 1. There's a reason JT Daniels was picked the starter over Stetson Bennett. And it's because he's better. If he's healthy. If he's healthy.
You look at it like, it's almost as if Kirby, is listening to everybody, and he's, like you said, he doesn't want to make this mistake again. He doesn't want to make any mistake again. And I think, I'm with, if he feels really good about JT Daniels, if he really feels like he's his best option, it only helps. The more reps Stetson Bennett gets, the more comfortable he gets.
The thing that I want to know is in what game for Georgia has JT Daniels played where people went, well, he's not any good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There hasn't been one.
He should.
I know he hasn't. I know he's been hurt. So whatever he's started 6 games or whatever it is, well, he's averaging 280 a game. He's got like 3 games over 300, 1 game at 400. 2 games we won because of JT Daniels that we would not have won with Stetson Bennett. Mississippi State last year and Cincinnati last year. We would not have won those games without JT Daniels. Where's the game that we would have lost if not for Stetson Bennett? Like, where's the game where you can look and go, man, thank God we had Stetson Bennett, or we wouldn't have won that game? Like that, and that was my thing with Jake Fromm. The best you can hope for is he doesn't lose the game for you. He's not going to win the game for you. And I just wonder.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if we get into a game where, for whatever reason, we can't run the ball. Maybe we have a turnover early, and we look up at the scoreboard halfway through the second quarter, and we're down 17-6 with Stetson Bennett. Then what? Because I legit don't know. Because all I have to go off of is last year, and I saw Stetson Bennett shit the bed twice, and I've never seen JT Daniels do that. So. I don't know. I'm going to have to let you go. They're really backed up on the phone lines. I'll tell you this. If JT Daniels does not play against Florida, I'm off the JT Daniels thing, and we're just going to have to ride with Stetson Bennett. At some point, you got to play. You can't just wrap JT Daniels up in a security blanket on the sideline and say, well, we're going to go with Stetson unless we're losing at halftime, and then put JT Daniels in, even though he hasn't played a game in 2 months. You can't do that. You can't go into the Alabama game. JT Daniels hasn't played since week 3. We're down at halftime, and then just trot JT Daniels out there. You can't do that. At some point, he's got to start playing football. And if he can't do that, then we're just going to have to go with Stetson and cross our fingers. But, and it'll be Stetson Bennett. If I don't see JT Daniels against Florida, then for me, it's Stetson Bennett Christ from that point forward. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning. Hey, what's going on, Lou? This is Peach the Kid.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, well, everyone's really high on Georgia. I'm a Georgia fan, and I'm high on them, and I'm really excited about them, but I'm nervous. As a Georgia fan, I'm afraid to talk all the greats, like lift Georgia. I know they're number one in every play, ESPN, SEC Network, Paul Feinbaum. Everywhere I look, it's Georgia, 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 and I'm just nervous, man. Do you feel that way at all? Or am I the only one? Am I the only Georgia fan that's like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here?
Look. I get nervous when we play. You don't think I'm nervous about Jacksonville in 2 weeks? I mean, I'm 43 years old. I lived through the 90s and in the early to mid 2000s. I've seen a lot of Georgia teams go down to Jacksonville, the better team, and lose. I stay nervous 24/7. And so, yeah, I'm nervous. I'm like, not only is Georgia ranked number one, like I think Georgia right now is clearly the best team in college football. But you don't play national title games in the middle of October. I also understand that.
Nope.
So, and it's the other thing is, and I don't know how many fans of other teams really understand what we're missing and what we're doing and who we're doing it with. None, zero of our wide receivers who we thought would be playing this year have played. Not a single one. Not a single one. And we're averaging 40 points a game. What if we had George Pickens? What if we had just two of them? What if we had just George Pickens and Don Blaylock? Forget the rest of them. Never mind Arian Smith, Jermaine Burton, Marcus Rosemy St. Jack. Never mind them. Never mind Eric Gilbert. What if we just had what we have now, plus George Pickens and Don Blaylock? Like Ladd McConkey, no one wanted him. No one wanted him. He's going to be a freshman All-American. Brock Bowers, right today is the best tight end in college football. True freshman. He's got 500 yards and 7 touchdowns halfway through the season. He's going to break all the records Kyle Pitts set last year. Is Kyle Pitts any good? Of course he is. And Brock Bowers is going to be here for 2 more years after this year. And then A.D. Mitchell. These people, Brock Bowers, now it probably would have been hard to keep Brock Bowers off the field. He's that good. Ladd McConkey and A.D. Mitchell, they would have 0 catches right now if none of these wide receivers would have been hurt.
Well,
Zero. They wouldn't have been on the field. They'd be on the scout team. They would both be on the scout team right now. They wouldn't be on the field. And we are blowing out ranked teams by 20, 30, and 40 points every single week with half the offense out. So I'm nervous, but if we start to get a couple of these pieces back, there's nobody. Not only is no one going to beat us, no one's going to come close. And that's not a ridiculous statement to make. Look at the last 2 or 3 national title games. It's not unusual for the best team in college football to be 30 points better than the second best team. We see it all the time. Alabama blew out Ohio State in the national title game last year. LSU won the national title game in a blowout. Trevor Lawrence beat Alabama 44-16 in a national title game. It's not unusual for the best team to be 30 or 40 points better than the second best team. And if Georgia gets a couple of pieces back on offense, that's what you're looking at right now with Georgia. Because I don't care how good these offenses are, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Bama, take whatever. I don't know how many points do they score a game? But somewhere between 45 and 50. They're scoring half that against Georgia. We're not shutting those teams out. And I hope Georgia fans don't think that. We play Ohio State, Oklahoma, or Alabama, they're going to score in the 20s. But Georgia's going to score in the 40s on all of them. All of them. Oklahoma's got a 2017 defense. Ohio State's got the worst defense they've had in modern times. And Alabama's defense, it was a giant lie. There's one player on Alabama's defense that would start on Georgia's defense. One. And that's Will Anderson. There ain't a single other starter on Alabama's defense who would start for Georgia. Alabama's defense is not that good. They got bullied by Florida. Right now, Georgia's the best team, and it's not close. But, of course, I'm nervous. I'm 43 years old. I've seen a lot of weird shit, not just involving Georgia, involving all kinds of teams. So yeah, I'm nervous. Long answer to your question, but yeah.
Have you seen the videos? What are they? SEC shorts.
Yeah,
they're little comic sketch. Oh, I love them. I love them. I send them to all my friends.
The best part of the new one is the very end when he goes. He goes in his closet and he has the box. It says "Home Defense Kit." And he opens it up and it's a golf ball and a bottle of mustard.
That's it, man. That's it right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's exactly how I feel when I'm talking to other Georgia fans, or just like even talking to my parents. You know what I mean? And Georgia fans and my mom and dad. And they're like, oh, we're going because the neighbors are Florida fans. They live in Florida now. And she was going to put a sticker on his car of, bulldog peeing on and I was like, don't do that. She's like, why? And I was like, because then you're just going, you're going to, what is it? You're going to ruin it. Like, you just be humble. Yeah. Just don't do anything yet. You know what I mean? And I know that's probably just me because I'm superstitious like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk trash till the game's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just me. But, another question.
Well, don't worry. That's what you have me for. Don't worry. That's what you have me for. I'll talk all the trash. I'll talk all the trash before the game, and I'll let you handle it afterwards.
Oh my God, man! I'm so high right now. But like you said, I just get so nervous. But even before UAB, I was nervous. I get nervous for every game. But now the stakes just seem to get higher and higher and higher. And you don't want to jinx it. You know what I mean? Don't talk about it. Don't even look at it. You know what I mean? Just let it keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. But another question for you is: Did you see Keely Ringo's mom in the stands during the game? By chance, she was the one with the pink hair and the pink pads. When you had all the boys lined up with the pink paint on it.
Yeah.
That was his mom. Go watch the video of her just going wilding out, man.
Okay.
She was having the best time. I loved it. It made my heart feel good. You know what I mean? That's what college football is about. And then I changed the channel. I see Tennessee throwing trash on the field. And I was like, well, there you go. That's the difference right there.
Trash.
That's the difference right there.
Trash throwing trash.
Just trash throwing trash, baby. Trash throwing trash. But anyways, man, I appreciate you. But seriously, go look up that video of her, her wilding out with all the other students, man. It feels good. It's a good.
I'll check it out.
It's a good video. But yeah, man, go do your thing. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. It's good to hear from you too. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, bud?
Hey, nothing much. Hey, I'm calling here down from Georgia. Of course, I'm a dog.
You're a good man.
Yeah, I called in a couple. Oh, yeah, well, thank you. You also too. I took my hats off to you. Thank you, Uncle Lou. Thank you. Yeah, I called a couple of weeks ago. We was talking about James Williamson from Alabama. I was telling you that he's probably the best player on the Alabama team.
Yeah.
And that was a couple of weeks ago. In these last 2 weeks, it proved that by far that he's the most explosive, best player on the team. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of if you remember me.
Yeah, and he's a transfer too. So that just goes to prove that, because some people have the idea that the only players that are in the transfer portal are bench riders who are quote unquote scared to compete, or whatever the case. There's a lot of different reasons why people would choose to transfer away from a program. And Alabama recruits out of this world every single year. They've probably got 3 or 4 NFL wide receivers on their team right now, and they still went out and got a wide receiver out of the portal, and turns out he's the best wide receiver on their team. So, this Dabo Swinney routine about how we don't need the portal, how's that working out for the Taters? But yeah, so that's proof. I mean, Joe Burrow, 3 of the last 5 Heisman winners were transfers. So there's plenty of talent in the transfer portal. And even a team like Alabama, who, like I said, recruits at a ridiculous level every single year, can still find, a piece here and there in the portal that can help them. I mean, so you got to hats off to Alabama. Georgia did the same thing. Now, it hasn't worked out. 2 of our positions of need, we thought, were tight end. We didn't know how good Brock Bowers was. We had Darnell and Fitzpatrick, and that was about it. So you go out, you get Eric Gilbert, and then you look at the secondary and you say, okay, lots of talent but no experience. Let's go get Darion Kendrick and Tyke Smith. Then, of course, Tyke Smith out for the year. But that's the way you should look at the portal. I don't think you should be out there signing 10 and 12 transfer players a year. I don't think the portal is a way to build a team, but it's a way to fill holes. It's definitely a way to fill holes, and Alabama has done it the right way. I think Kirby is doing it the right way. There's lots of teams that are using the transfer portal to fill needs, a need here, a need there. And Jameis Williams is probably the best example of that this year.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But Alabama, they had it also might have hurt. That's kind of like swing this thing on the other side, because now Alabama, just for example, Alabama had lost 4 linebackers from the transportal this year alone. 4 linebackers. I looked it up. 4 of their linebackers transferred out of Alabama, and that's why they had to get the guy Toto.
Oh yeah, from Tennessee. Yeah, and now he's their leading tackler.
And he's the leading tackler. And so I'm gonna ask you, Uncle Lou, because you're pretty much an expert on this. Now, of course, the portal going to help, and Alabama going to get what they can. They're going to get. They're going to get what they need. But do you think if it's one team and one team alone that the transportal might hurt a team, it will be Alabama, because they already was at the top tier of recruiting. So you know how the old saying say, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. But now the transfer portal kind of threw a monkey wrench on the recruiting. Let's say if you got a 4 or 5 star waiting to get in, or playing behind another 4 or 5 star, which Alabama always have that in rotation, 4 or 5 star rotation. But that player feel like he's not getting his time on the field that he wants, and now he's going to go out. He feel like he's not getting his just due. Do you think that might maybe a team that's
I think there could be some of that.
Yeah,
I think there could be some of that. A guy is second string this year. He thinks he's in line to start next year, and then he picks up his phone in February and sees that his team has signed such and such out of the transfer portal that plays his position, and he's sitting there going, well, wait a minute. Why are they getting a guy out of the portal to play my position? So, yeah, I do think there could be some of that. But, if the team is going out there to get somebody out of the portal, then they obviously think you're not what they need, so it's probably a good idea for you to transfer anyway. But, hey, thank you for the call. I'm going to have to let you run, getting short on time and that. Good morning in the 0-2.
Yo, Uncle Lou, Gators.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you doing tonight?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. So, Lou, I'm finally on the Fire Grantham train.
Fire Grantham?
I've seen all I can see now. We had the 7th ranked defense.
What about fire the guy that refuses to fire Grantham?
Nah, he did. I mean, that's what I'm on the same level playing with Dan Mullen coming out of last year. You had the 7th best defense in the country, and then you drop down to 40th. You got to see where you level out there. And Grantham had some knuckleheads on the team last year. There's no doubt about that.
What about losing to Kentucky when your defense only gave up 13 points? Is that Todd Grantham's fault?
So we beat Kentucky last year. We're talking about this year.
I'm talking about this year.
I'm now on the Grantham.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, last year.
But whose fault was it? Was it Todd Grantham's fault you lost to Kentucky? I'm just asking. Who's better, Emory Jones or Anthony Richardson?
Anthony Richardson.
Well, how do you know that, but not Dan? How do you know that, but not Dan Mullen? And here's the other thing. I hate to be this blunt about it, but Florida's season literally is over. You're not winning the East. You're not making a New Year's Six bowl. What point does it serve at this point for Emory Jones to ever play another snap? Why not play? I don't think it does either. Play Anthony Richardson the rest of the year. If he loses another 2 or 3 games, who cares? He's getting valuable experience, and then you got the quarterback you want starting for next year, and let Emory Jones transfer out. It doesn't make any sense from this point forward to play Emory Jones not one damn snap.
I agree with that now, but what was the talking point about our quarterback last year? The guy waited his turn, prepared the right way, and he got his opportunity at Florida.
Right, and he shit the bed over and over again. I mean, he's had 7 games. He's not any good. I mean, we don't have to guess now about Emory Jones. We know now Uncle Lou was right for 3 years. We don't have to try to guess whether I was right or wrong the last 3 years when I've been screaming from the mountaintops that Emory Jones was going to be mush doo-doo. We all know now he's mush doo-doo. Even the Florida fans that told me I was retarded, all those Florida fans that told me I was retarded are now singing my tune.
Hold on now. I'm not saying that Emory Jones is straight doo-doo. I'm just saying that he has not handled reins of being Florida Gators quarterback. He's not handled it well. He's nervous out there. He's clearly not making any reads at all. He's just going with his primary target and then panicking every single time. His throws are off. He's not getting his feet set. He's not ready to be the starting quarterback at the University of Florida. Now, when he transfers, he will transfer.
If he's not mush doo-doo, then what type of doo-doo is he?
You go, all right. So if Emory Jones transfers, man, he's going to go to a team like a Louisville or something like that.
Yeah,
he's going to
I agree with you there. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. I could see. Yeah,
he's just not going to be. He's not going to be Georgia starting for. He's not going to be LSU. He's not going to be Florida. He's not ready for that role. And but let's go back to Grantham, man. I'm going to let Dan Mullen get his offense right. The only problem I have with Mullen is just we seem to just walk out on the field and we're just completely not prepared. We have the most vanilla offense whenever we're playing lower level teams, and when we're playing bigger teams, we get flustered. Like, think of the 2 losses we had against Georgia under Dan Mullen. I mean, we got behind. Even the game last year, we were down by 14 points right off the rip. They don't get out there and they don't get prepared.
Yeah.
So I'm not having too big of a problem with Mullen. I know a lot of people are freaking out about Mullen. That's cool. We'll see. But with Grantham, I'm done. Yeah. I'm way done. to completely let that guy run the ball the same 1, 2, 3 plays the entire game and get 287 yards.
You want to hear something funny? Hey, all right, I'll tell you something funny and let you laugh at me for a second. That's how I felt. Okay. That's how I felt playing Florida last year when y'all kept running that stupid ass wheel route. And we could. I'm like, I'm yelling at my TV like, here comes the wheel route, and what do you know? Here comes the wheel route, and it's another 40-yard gain. That is frustrating as a fan when you're watching. And yeah, you're right. The LSU game was that way. There was about 2 or 3 running plays that LSU kept running over and over and over and over. That's so frustrating as a fan. Yeah, that is frustrating. I feel your pain.
Miami's got to do us a favor, win a few games here at the end. Keep Manny Diaz's name out of the Florida defensive coordinator talks. We can't have that. Yeah. He was Dan Mullen's defensive coordinator at Mississippi State. We can't have that Manny Diaz, man. The game's passed him by, just like Grantham.
Right.
We can't do that. Let me just quickly talk about Georgia real quick. My God, you guys own the middle of the field on offense. I mean, my God, those tight ends and those slot players, man, running game, even Stetson Bennett. I mean, I'd hate to be a linebacker or a nickel playing against Georgia. I would hate it. Like, what do you do in those situations? I mean,
from watching Kyle Pitts last year, one of the biggest mismatches you can ever get in a college football game is an elite level tight end, because a lot of times they're going to be covered by, at best, a safety, and at worst, a middle linebacker. And when you've got elite future NFL tight ends, most college linebackers and safeties can't deal with that. And when you add size to the equation, which is what somebody like Darnell and Kyle Pitts have, not that Brock Bowers is small, but he's not the size of a Kyle Pitts or a Darnell. But that's one of the biggest mismatches you can get in football. Look at Gronkowski and how he dominated in the NFL. I'm not saying he can't run routes or catch, but it was primarily his size and speed that got him where he got him. Yeah, and you can go a long way as a tight end like that, and as an offense if you learn to utilize that, like Florida did last year and like Georgia's doing this year.
You guys remind me of Florida in 2012. I mean, with a more serviceable quarterback than Jeff Driscoll. I mean, you guys remember when we had Burton?
Oh yeah,
Jordan Reed.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think it's your year to win SEC, and then we'll see from there. I mean, I don't have any hope. I think you have all the strengths against our weaknesses when we face you in Jacksonville next week. So just be thinking about those helmets, those mini helmets that you want me to send your way.
Will do, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Good luck against the bye week, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks in Jacksonville for the cocktail party. I have to go pee. I'll come back and take more phone calls if y'all are willing to wait a couple of minutes to let me go pee. I'm about to make a mess in here. I'll let you listen to this while I go pee. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Week 7 gone already? Man, in the books. Time for another list of losers. It's a little late this week, I know, but I wanted to go ahead and do it anyway. Georgia's off this week. During Georgia's off week, I always relax my schedule a little bit to try to kind of re-energize myself or whatever for the second half of the season. But your season is over, video. Better late than never. And man, what an amazing list of losers. Can we start here? Normally, I like to start with whoever Georgia puts in the graveyard. But can we please start with these people here? Jeez, well, I can't even put it back on the shelf. I'm leaving that mustard there. I tell you what, let's do this. Can we do this? Mustard there. Push the helmet back. Mustard right in front. Yeah, well, can we do it like that? We'll do it like that. Well, Tennessee found a new way to lose. Now, they've been doing this for 12 or 13 years, just inventing ways to shoot themselves in the foot. I'm not going to talk about the ending of the game and the fact that Ole Miss and Tennessee faked. Kay Perrin, thank you for hitting the PayPal link. I appreciate you helping to support the show. That means a lot to me. He says, best to you and yours. Same to you. I hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for the for hitting the PayPal link. Let's see who this is now. Keep bringing the truth, Lou. Keep bringing the truth, Lou. Thank you, Richard. I will continue to bring the truth according to Uncle Lou, of course. But yes, I will continue to keep bringing the truth. Jacob says, I've seen Tennessee fans defend Saturday night by saying Ole Miss fans started it. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It started in the Tennessee student section. That's just ridiculous. That's like, well, no. Well, fuck it. That's like the Trump supporters saying it was Antifa on January 6th that were chanting death to Nancy Pelosi and all that shit. Type, unsubscribe, type. Good morning, your own Uncle Lou.
Morning, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. I've got a couple of statements and a couple of questions to ask you.
All right.
One, how fantastic would it be to see JC and Blaylock come out against Florida in the black jerseys compared to what they did to us last year? Because the next day will be Halloween.
Yeah, it would be great. That would be great. That's and this. I hate to get off on a tangent here about the black jerseys. I wish we would just come out with a policy and say we're wearing the black jerseys on the last home game of the year every single year. I'm tired of the whole thing every year about how it's some kind of government secret about when we're going to wear black jerseys. Are we going to wear black jerseys?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, black this, black jersey that. Just come out and say, look, everybody in America is doing this shit now. Everybody's got weird uniforms they wear. Just say, look, we're going to wear black jerseys the last home game, which is senior day of every year, and that's that. That's just what it is. And then we don't have to sit around talking about it all the time. Is this the week? They're going to do it this week? And wear black jerseys, wear black helmet. Because I'm just kind of tired of the whole guessing game thing about it. But anyway, to your point, setting the black jersey thing aside, I think it would be great if we got a couple of guys back for the Florida game. And I think maybe that's the plan and has been the plan for a few people. Not necessarily because it's the Florida game, but maybe you had some guys that could have came back or were close to coming back in the last week or so, and the staff decided, you know what, we got a bye week coming up. If we sit them out for Auburn and Kentucky, that'll give them another 3 weeks. By then, they'll definitely be 100%. And so I'm thinking we get a few of those pieces. There's some rumors about George Pickens. Now I would be shocked.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I would be shocked if George Pickens played against Florida, but there are a lot of rumors out there that he may be suiting up against the Gators. I would be extremely shocked. I'm thinking probably more like Georgia Tech or maybe Charleston Southern the week before, but we'll see. But there's a lot of rumors out there about George Pickens.
I would say that if they did that, it would be more like oh my God, they're just putting him out there just for show and trying to play in case he actually does come out. But I think it's too soon as well.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that too. Well, they're going to put him out there, but he'll just be a decoy. I don't think they're going to do that. George Pickens has a lot of money on the line. There are some NFL analysts that think he doesn't have to play this year and could still get drafted somewhere in the 25 to 32 range in the first round. Just based off what he's already done and what money in the next round. Yeah, if he sat out and was completely healthy and was able to show up at the combine and put on a show. Now, if he plays some this year, maybe 4 or 5 games, and really shows out, maybe he gets drafted top 15 or something. But I don't think the conspiracy theory about maybe putting him out there is just a decoy. I don't think Georgia would do that. I don't think they would risk that. Yeah, I don't think they're going to put him out there unless they're confident. He's confident. Kirby even said in the post-game press conference today, this isn't a decision that I'm going to make by myself or the doctors are going to make by themselves. This is a decision and a talk that we have all the time between myself, the coaches, George Pickens, the doctors, and George's parents. Because there's a lot on the line for a guy like George Pickens. A lot on the line. A lot of money on the line for a guy like George Pickens.
I listened to that earlier today. But another question for you, though, is I've talked to you a couple of times. I don't know if anybody else in the past, but a couple of weeks ago when game day was in Athens, how do you feel about getting your name on College Game Day?
Oh, when the guy that had the sign, that was great. Yeah, that was great. I didn't know who did that. I didn't know who did that, so I put a post up on Facebook and Twitter, and then the guy that did it replied to my tweet on Twitter, and he said that was me, and he posted another picture where he was just holding the sign up off to the side as proof that it was him. There's been a couple of things like that has happened. A guy went to the College Baseball World Series one time with a sign that said, "Subscribe to Uncle Lou." I didn't catch that one, man. And then there was a Braves game in the playoffs a few years ago where someone hit a home run into right field, and not the guy that caught it, but like a guy sitting like 2 seats next to the guy that caught the home run ball on TV was wearing a Lou Tube shirt. Shit like that's just funny to me when I see it.
And I know that I've heard you past talking about you don't listen to Dog Nation A-League because they blocked you or something like that. But
it's mainly Chip Towers. I don't want to give the wrong idea. Chip Towers is the only one that I have a problem with. The rest of them I've got no issue with. But Chip Towers blocked me like 5 years ago from commenting on all the Dog Daily stuff. So if I can't comment on something, I'm just not going to watch it. So that's why I quit watching and following them on Facebook.
I was watching it earlier today, and BA was on. And one of the comments that they had, because, you know, they've been giving the golden shoe out because of the Florida last year.
Yeah.
They said that how about retiring the golden shoe and giving out the golden mustard award?
Yes, I'm on board for that.
Well, I'll let you go and talk to a couple of other people, but I just wanted to ask a couple of questions and just get your comments on a couple of things.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. It was good to hear from you. I hope to hear from you again. Golden mustard. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello.
Hello?
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 Hey, Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm Noah. I'm a Georgia fan. This is my first time calling in.
I appreciate it.
How are you this week?
Good,
you?
You?
This week?
I'm good, you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So I wanted to ask a couple questions about how you think about Georgia, I guess, further in the further down in the season. We're taking care of business right now, and everything seems good.
Georgia would be a favorite
as far as
today
games that we should.
On a neutral field tomorrow. Georgia would be a favorite over anybody in America. If we can get some pieces back on offense, we'll be a significant favorite.
Do you think that? I know Stetson Bennett's kind of average. I guess. I mean, to put it lightly, he's kind of average. Like you say, he won't lose you as long as he doesn't lose you the game. It's good enough, right? But do you think at some point it's going to be tough getting JT Daniels, depending on when he gets back in, like integrated back into the offense, or do you think he's just
yes, I do. Back in? No, I think there's a drop dead date. I don't know what that date is. Somebody on the coaching staff needs to be figuring this out, though. You can't just throw JT Daniels out there in the SEC championship game and he hasn't played football since the second week of September or whatever it was. So there's got to be a point before that where he plays. I don't know what that point is. To me, personally, it's Florida. If I don't see JT Daniels play against Florida, I'm not that I'm done with JT Daniels, but I'm done waiting on him to start at that point, because this is kind of we've sort of seen this twice before with Kirby. We saw it with Fromm Eason in 2017, and some people said, well, Eason will be fully healthy after the Florida game, and maybe he'll get the job back, and he never did. And then with Justin Fields, we played, if I remember right, we played LSU. Jake Fromm had the worst game of his career. He looked like he had never seen a football before. We were off the next week and then playing Florida, and people said, well, if they're going to give Fields a shot, it's going to be now coming off of a bye week. And Jake Fromm trotted his happy ass out on the field, and that was it. That was pretty much the end of the line for Fields. I'm not saying that'll be the case with JT Daniels, but there does come a point. You know, Kirby is right to an extent when he says, you know, you have to practice, and you have to practice if you want to play. Also, you have to play if you want to be great. You can't just hide JT Daniels and go, well, I hope we don't get behind in the SEC title game or a playoff game, but if we do, we can always just throw JT Daniels out there in the second half when we're down by 3 touchdowns. I don't think that's a good idea with a guy that hasn't played since September. This isn't a situation like Alabama did to us 2 years in a row. Both of those quarterbacks were healthy all year and played in every game in the second half. Tua played in the second half of almost every game in 2017. And Hurts played in the second half of almost every game in 2018. So they weren't rusty. They were game ready. So when it was time to make a change, they were ready to go. That won't be the case with JT Daniels if we're just hiding him on the sideline until January. Like, he's got to play at some point.
I don't think he's that much more of an upgrade than, like, I mean, so He's better than Stetson Bennett, but like it's not like a George Pickens where like if George Pickens could come off cold and have a great game for the most part, as long as he's been running routes in practice and stuff.
Well, yeah, but part of that is because of the
Daniels,
position. In general,
it's
easier for a wide receiver to come in
and
play. A quarterback needs chemistry with the wide receivers. The offensive line needs to have a certain comfort level with his cadence in calling plays.
Right.
Like there's a lot more that goes into a quarterback being prepared to play sort of off the bench than a wide receiver, I would argue. But we're running out of time here.
Do you think there's any of these like more hyper offensive teams that I know that Georgia's defense? I mean, we're lights out this year. It looks great. But do you think there's any of these teams that's gonna? Because I feel like if somebody manages to put up 30 points against us, we'll probably lose. Do you think there's a team out there that could do that?
Well, I disagree. It depends on the team. You take Oklahoma, for example. We're infinitely better defensively right now than we were in 2017. Oklahoma right now,
no, I agree.
Oklahoma right now is not as good offensively as they were in 17. They're really good. They're not as good as they were in 17, though. But their defense is the same as it was in 17. So Oklahoma today would not score 48 points on Georgia. A 0% chance. Zero. So they would score, to your point, 30 maybe. But Georgia also offensively is averaging almost 10 points more per game than they were averaging in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
We were a 30-point-a-game
hear it all
team.
the time. It's just the offense.
So I think we would beat Oklahoma handily.
Offense,
I'm not worried. I'm least worried about Oklahoma probably of any of the playoff teams. Alabama and Ohio State worry me more than Oklahoma. Now, Ohio State doesn't have a great defense either.
And Alabama, yeah.
But it's not as bad of a defense as Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, they've been playing pretty easy. Their team has been their schedule hasn't been very heavy. They've been blowing everybody out, but it's Rutgers and
they played one ranked team and they lost.
Whoever else.
They played one ranked team and they lost.
Right.
Now they are better. I'm not a total idiot in Homer. Ohio State is way better today. If Ohio State played Oklahoma today, they'd win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I don't have any doubt about that. They're way better offensively today than they were when they played Oregon. What concerns me, if I'm an Ohio State fan and I'm looking at a possible Georgia matchup, forget about Georgia's defense. Ohio State could not stop the run against Oregon. Now, anybody that plays Georgia and can't stop the run is going to lose, period. Go back to 2017. We couldn't run the ball. Nick Chubb averaged 1.7 yards per carry in that national championship game.
Right.
So if we face a team that shuts the run down, we need to be able to throw it. And that's where I think JT Daniels gives us a better option than Stetson.
Which like with Auburn, Auburn, I feel like they're going to get better. I'm interested to see what the Iron Bowl ends up looking like. But like Auburn loads 7 in the box, and it is hard to run inside on them. We had success doing it, but we did throw the ball. There's not really a lot of teams that are running that type of defense though right now, and until somebody actually makes the adjustment to actually do that, I don't know that we're going to have a lot of issue moving the ball on the ground like that.
Yeah, if we can run the ball for 5 or 6 yards per carry, there's nobody that's going to beat us, period. Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, Cincinnati, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, however far down the list you want to go. Especially if Stetson Bennett is the quarterback, I expect whatever team we play down the road in the playoffs, because Georgia's making the playoffs. Let's just get that out in the open now.
Yes.
Georgia's going 12-0. Now, if y'all want to argue in the comment section about whether or not they're going 13-0, that's fine. Georgia can lose the SEC championship game. They're still getting in. So Georgia's going to the playoffs. Yep. So if you're a playoff team playing Georgia, you got to put 7 or 8 people in the box, especially if Stetson Bennett is playing QB, and you have to hope that Stetson has a bad game. That's the only way you're going to beat UGA. That's it. Because if you let Georgia run on you, it's over.
Yep. So one more thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about so Brock Bauer, right? That's I got his first name right? Bauer.
Yeah, Brock Bowers.
He's a freshman, right? True freshman.
True freshman.
What do you think the potential on him is?
It's unlimited.
Couple years.
He's the best tight end in college football right now. There's not a tight end in college football right now better than Brock Bowers. That it doesn't exist. He's fixing to break every record Kyle Pitts set last year. Kyle Pitts had 700 yards and 12 touchdowns. Brock Bowers has 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. We're halfway through the season. Brock Bowers is going to be the best tight end Georgia's ever had, and there's not even going to be a close second. Georgia hasn't had 1,000. Georgia has one 1,000-yard receiver in school history. It was Terrence Edwards in 2002. Brock Bowers is going to go for 1,000 yards as a true freshman tight end. So why isn't he being mentioned for the Heisman? Thank you for the call. People want to talk about Jordan Davis. Why isn't Brock Bowers being mentioned for the Heisman? Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hi, Uncle Lou. I was just wondering if you would think, if this is Michigan's year to, finally get to the playoffs.
I'm not paying any attention at all to Michigan until they beat Ohio State. I've been fooled way too many times and made to look like I've picked Michigan so many times in the last 5 years and been made to look like a complete fool. I'm not paying any attention to Michigan or picking them to do anything if and until they beat Ohio State, period. Thank you for the call. That's nothing. Michigan's a good team this year. Might be the best team Harbaugh's had. But I've seen this a lot of times, so I need to see them beat Ohio State. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Are you talking to me?
I'm trying to.
Hello? Yeah. I'm a senator from Georgia.
Okay.
Uncle Lou, are you there?
I'm still here. Yeah, what brand of flip-flop are you calling in from?
I'm calling from my house.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Uncle Lou, I'm a little older than you.
That's okay.
You don't remember, you talk about Tennessee and their trash. Do you remember the rail tracks?
Remember what?
At Georgia in 1980? And people throwing trash at cars.
I was 2 years old in 1980, so I don't remember that.
Well, I was here in 1980.
Well, they didn't lose a game in 1980, so I'm not sure what they were mad about. But
No, I'm saying, you talk about Tennessee and their trash, but I was there. Uncle Lou, just listen to me, okay?
Did you walk to the game barefooted uphill both ways?
Yeah, I walked to the trail tracks, and I drove, and people would throw trash at you as you drove through the rail tracks.
I'm going to be honest. I'm wanting to throw trash at you right now because of the quality of flip-flop that you're using to call into this show. It literally sounded like you were calling in with a VCR. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, it's Heupel Paul.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Do I have a few?
Do what?
I'm not calling in with a few, am I? Can you hear me?
I don't know, man. Now it sounds like you're mumbling too. Are you trolling me?
No, I'm not.
Are you on speakerphone or something?
I put you without speakerphone. I can put you on speaker.
No, don't.
But hey,
no speakerphone. Go ahead. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm listening to these cats come in here and tell Georgia they're no good.
Yeah.
And I love it. But that's because they don't really care. They don't really know football. That being said, when it comes to the next week, can Clemson? Can we get out of the damn emergency ward on offense? Will we? Help me. Tell me who will.
Not this year. No. If you didn't do it after the bye week, it's not happening. And the sad part is, you didn't even try to make any changes offensively. It was the same plays, the same, half-melted bowl of vanilla ice cream that Clemson's been trotting out on the field offensively for the entire season. I gave Clemson the benefit of the doubt. I said, they got a bye week. If they're going to make any changes, get any better, try to do anything differently or whatever, this will be the time. And it didn't happen. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I get so aggravated. But I just wanted to call in to tell you that I think that all these people who are Georgia haters, they're going to be in deep, deep trouble when Alabama comes into the SEC championship game and Georgia wins. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense anymore. Can we put it to bed?
Yeah, I think we can put it to bed. Now, I will say this in favor of Clemson, because there are these people running around. I think it started with Paul Feinbaum, which everybody knows how I feel about him. I think he's a genius in what he created, but I think his football thoughts are not are ridiculous. This idea that whatever run Clemson has been on is now over. That's insane. Clemson is not 2019 LSU that had one great year. Clemson has been at or near the top of the college football world for 6 straight years. One bad season is not going to wash that away. Alabama played in a Citrus Bowl 2 years ago. That's where Clemson is headed this year. That doesn't mean it's over for Clemson. So there's people that think that it is are in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I don't think Clemson's done. I just think there's a pause here, and there's going to be an adjustment. And I hope, well, I say a thing, I hope there's an adjustment. That's the key.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for taking the call, man. And have a good night.
You too, HBP. Good to hear from you, buddy. Thank you for calling in. Workmeister, thank you for hitting the PayPal link. He says, thanks for going easy on us into your season is over video. We still ain't going nowhere, though. Davis is a monster. Can't believe a man that big can jump that high. Also, how great of a fan base does the Vols have? Giving all the ADs nationwide an excuse to not allow alcohol, saving everyone's health and wallet. What are your thoughts on what's left of Arkansas's remaining season? 4-1 over the next 5, and 8-4 season record seems huge for them. 8-4 is a gigantic win for Arkansas and Sam Pittman in year 2. I don't think you can find a person on earth, Arkansas fans included, who 2 years ago would have said, I think we can go 8-4 in 2021. So that would be a huge W for Arkansas and Sam Pittman. A huge W. Jack Selman says, I had a great super chat in mind, but Dan Mullen benched it in favor of Emily Jones. That might be the best super chat of the night, sir. The best comment of the night. Thank you, Jack. Gator Zone says, you think Mullen is wearing Darth Vader versus UJ? No. Nope. He's going to wear the It costume this year. He might even wear it on the sideline. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I was watching your season is over video, and I saw where you said you talked about if Auburn, if they run the table up into the Iron Bowl, how interesting of the game it creates against Alabama, being at home and stuff. What do you think the chances that they do run the table into the Iron Bowl? And if they do, what do you think it's going to take for Auburn to beat them at home?
Well, the Auburn-Ole Miss game is going to be interesting for a lot of different reasons. I think it could be a good game, and obviously whoever wins that game, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter who wins that game. If Auburn wins that game and then they beat Alabama, they're in. If Auburn loses to Ole Miss but then beats Alabama, Ole Miss is in. As far as their chances go, you're going to have the best possible version of Bo Nix. And we've seen some of that this year, and we've seen some of the kind of Harlem Globetrotter Bo Nix. You know, he has beat he's beat Alabama. I mean, let's not forget, he's beat Alabama already. He beat them as a freshman, didn't he?
Yeah,
I believe. So,
yeah, it was his freshman year.
Yeah, the idea that Auburn can't beat Alabama, I mean, this Auburn-Alabama game in Auburn has been very interesting the last several years, and it could be very interesting again this year, especially if everything's on the line for Auburn and Bama. Clearly, Alabama's going to be favored, but that doesn't mean they're going to win.
Yeah, I want to say Auburn is 3-1 at home against Bama since 2012.
Something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. So regardless of what Alabama fans will admit in public, if Auburn is sitting at 10-1 going into that game, the Alabama fans are going to be extremely nervous about that game. Extremely nervous. And it'll be one of the best Iron Bowls, most watched Iron Bowls probably of all time. Hey, thank you for the call. Speaking of watching things, did you know that more people on Saturday watched Georgia and Kentucky than watched Texas and Oklahoma? That, my friends, is why Texas and Oklahoma is coming to the SEC. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's going on, Uncle Lou? It's Exploring with Ben here from Trinidad.
Hey, what's up, buddy? People running around barefooted down there?
Hey. Some people. It's curfew right now, so not that many.
Curfew, dang. They ain't ate since Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still curfew here. They raised it to 10 p.m. from 9 p.m., but you know, your comment earlier was asking about the Darth Vader suit. I thought Kirby Smart was wearing a gas mask to avoid the smell of Florida this year.
It's probably a good idea. He should look into it.
It's not looking pretty. But hey, yeah, I watched. You're right. I watched. I saw the highlights of the Texas-Oklahoma game, and I was like, wow, what's going on at the end of the first quarter? I thought it was like third quarter. I saw the end of the first quarter. I was like, what happened? And then Texas collapsed.
Yeah. 2 weeks in a row now. I did the same thing this past week against Oklahoma State. Huge lead in the first half. Epic fail in the second half.
Yeah, I was really interested in the Georgia game. I was streaming it here live on YouTube, and I was like, this could be a good game. Then it was good for like the first quarter, and then Georgia does what they're doing this year to everyone. Just start beating Kentucky in the face, unfortunately. So I know you're down on Oregon. You're down on Michigan. Don't blame you.
It's not that I'm down on Michigan. I am down on Oregon. It's not that I'm down on Michigan.
Yeah.
It's just that I've been burned by Michigan a lot of times in the last 5 years. So I'm just not publicly going all in on Michigan, no matter what they do, until they play and beat Ohio State.
No, that's a fair statement. As you said with Oregon too, you know, you're like, hey, they're not looking good. You've been burnt too over the years. Trust me, it's been a heart attack season this year. I'm happy for wins, but no, I agree. I'm saying, God, stressful. But I don't know. Yeah, I was just calling in to say hey, and unlike some of your other viewers, I'm not calling from a VCR or walking uphill. So
yeah, you're all the way in Trinidad.
I hope you have a great rest of your morning.
Yeah, you're all the way in Trinidad, and somehow you're able to call in on a clear connection. Meanwhile, the guy living in a shack somewhere in the middle of East Tabib, Georgia, can't make out a word he's saying. But good luck down there. Be careful. Hope you make it home safe, and we'll talk to you again soon. 2 more calls, so if you're not on hold now, it's too late. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey there, Uncle Lou. Uncle here, calling from Austin, Texas, via Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia Bulldog fan, first time calling, long-term listener. I had a few questions for you. One of them being, what is your opinion on the Luke Burton commitment to Missouri today, and how do you feel that affects the wide receiver room going into next year?
I think the wide receiver room will be fine because I don't see us losing anybody other than potentially George Pickens.
Gotcha. Now, do you think that Eric Gilbert will be in the mix next year? I know that there's a lot of stuff going on personally, but do you feel that any chance that he decommits or not decommits, but
I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope that we will have Eric Gilbert next year. I don't have any hope at all that we will have him this year.
Well, once again, man, I think you do a great job. Appreciate you taking my call.
Okay, yeah, it was good to hear from you. Thank you for calling in. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou.
What's up?
two quick things. First off, a Clemson fan here. I've kind of enjoyed you guys. Your trolling of us earlier. I said you had Alabama fans leaving the channel. Got to lighten up and take a joke, I guess. The C- hat was, I mean, that was hilarious. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on how you think the SEC is going to, I guess, align itself once you add Texas and Oklahoma. There's one scenario where you throw, you take Missouri, throw them in the west, and then Alabama and Auburn comes to the east, and then you just add Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I've seen north south.
Yeah, if they stick with the two division deal, I think they'll do what you said first. I think they'll move Missouri to the west and move Auburn and Alabama to the east. What I hope they do is go with the 4-pod idea. And the reason I like that option is with the number of teams that's going to be in the SEC once they expand. If they stay with two divisions, it's going to be 8 years in between when we play other teams from the other division. I don't like that. If we go to the 4-pod deal, we'll play every team in the SEC every 3 years. The only question I have about the pod deal is if you have 4, how do you determine the SEC title game? That's what I don't know what the plan would be for that. It's easy to determine a title game when you have 2 divisions. But if you have 4, how do you determine that? So that's my only issue or question about the pod thing. But I don't like it now that we only play LSU every 7 years, Alabama every 7 years, Ole Miss every 7 years. I don't like that. That's too long. And when you add even more teams to the SEC, if you keep the same division format, it's only going to make that even worse. Now we're going to play Alabama every 8 years, LSU every 8 years. I don't like that. Texas every 8 years. I'd rather go to the 4-team deal. You play the 3 teams in your pod every year, and everyone else you rotate the rest of your schedule amongst the other 3 pods, which means you only wait 3 years to play each team.
Oh, that's very interesting. Well, thank you very much. What's interesting about the first scenario is Alabama would be in the East.
Yeah,
and
well, and that would make sense.
It's a big rivalry, but
that would make sense to do it that way, because one of the things that makes the SEC great is the traditional rivalries that exist, and you have like Alabama and Tennessee, right? So by moving Alabama to the East with Auburn, Alabama and Auburn will play every year because they're both in the East. Alabama and Tennessee will play every year because they're both in the East. Now you'll lose the Alabama versus LSU game. That won't be played every year. But you will keep the bigger ones, which is Alabama, Tennessee, Alabama, and Auburn.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Uncle Lou. I know you have other callers. Take it easy.
All right, thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you. All right, that's going to be it for the phone calls. No one else is on hold, which is good because I was just going to hang up on them anyway because it's time to end the show. 2 hours is enough for you guys to call and troll me. So Cole Spinner says Megan Mullen is entering the transfer portal. I heard Urban Meyer's wife might be entering the portal too. That's an unrelated story, but I heard that too. Thank you for the super chat, Cole. You're excellent people. Gator Zone, thank you for hitting the PayPal link. He says, do you think the Big Ten gamble to schedule the East the way they have will pay off or hurt them? Neither Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, or Michigan State, any other mentioned teams until Week 9. Is anyone finishing without 2 losses? I talked a little bit about this earlier. I'm not convinced anyone in the Big Ten East can make it the rest of the way without another loss. Or, in the case of Michigan and Michigan State, 1 loss, right? They all have to play each other still, and I'm not convinced any of them is good enough to run the table, Ohio State included. It's a brutal 6-week period coming up in the Big Ten East. Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and Michigan State are all going to play each other in the next 6 weeks. It's going to be hard for any team to come out of that without a loss. Almost impossible. I think Ohio State is playing the best out of all those teams right now, but that's a tough stretch of games for any team to go through. Somebody requested a song. I remember it was by Sublime. I don't remember the name of it, so I will look now. what the name of it was. Santeria by Sublime. I hope this isn't going to get this video shut down. All right, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. By the way, YouTube's longest running college football call-in show, too. A lot of people doing call-in shows now. Nobody been doing it as long as Uncle Lou, though. Maybe some of them are better, but none of them been doing it longer. So I appreciate you all tuning in. And as a reminder, I do this year-round, okay? So I know a lot of college football people only pay attention September through January, but we talk college football on this channel year-round, and this show goes year-round. Every Tuesday and Thursday night. February, we talk recruiting. March, April, and May, we talk spring practice. June and July, we talk off-season arrests. And then August, we start ramping back up for the season. So I hope all of you will stick around during the off-season. I do this full-time. I don't have another job. This is my job. And it's hard in these YouTube streets for a college football YouTuber in April, May, and June. So I hope you guys will stick around in the off season. But I had a good time tonight. Thanks to everybody that called in. I know sometimes you have to wait on hold for a long time, so I really appreciate all of you being patient. I do the best I can. I'm a one-man show here, one-man band. I do the best I can, so I appreciate those of you that called in and taking the time. I know it can be aggravating sometimes to get through and then to wait on hold, but great calls tonight. I really appreciate that. Thanks to everybody that participated in the comments section. And, of course, a huge shout-out to everybody that was able to support the show through Super Chat and PayPal. These live shows don't get monetized, at least not by me. Whatever music I play, they steal 100%. If you don't know how YouTube works, if you play music on YouTube, whoever owns that music, they get 100% of the revenue that comes from that channel. So now that's a decision I make, so I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't have to play music. I choose to because I think it just adds to the show at the beginning and the end. But because of that, the Super Chats and the PayPals are the only thing that keep these live shows going. So I really appreciate those of you that were able to support the show that way. I'll be back Thursday night to do this show all over again. No live shows tomorrow on Wednesday, but I will have the top 25 for this week out tomorrow. Of course, the official top 25, which is the Uncle Lou top 25, the only one that matters. The AP and the coaches poll are doo-doo. The Uncle Lou top 25 rankings is the only one that actually means anything until the playoff poll comes out. And even the playoff poll, they typically just look at what I do and base their rankings off of that. What is it now? Who is this now? Friction Vixen. Thank you for hitting the PayPal link. Says Georgia Bulldogs about to bend that ass over the rest of the year. Starting with the Gators. You're right about yeah, and it's going to start with the Gators. We're going to have the Gators in give-up mode by the second quarter. I'm just announcing that now. They're going to be waving a white flag and the whole no moss routine by the second quarter. This game in Jacksonville in 2 weeks is going to be ugly. The Dogs are going to roll, and it's going to be an absolute beating of biblical proportions, too, and also. But I love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll play a song to take us out here, and I hope to see you all back on Thursday. Have a good morning.
Find toes. The beach gives a feeling and a deep feeling. I believe in the faith that grows, and the full light goes can make me cry. When I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be alright, alright. And when the blanket lit, she said she was crafted. The building is ripped in the city, which is on the earth to feel alive. And now I'm struggling to survive those days you were wearing that velvet dress. You're the priestess, I must confess. Those little red panties, they pass the test. So I flip around the belly, face down on the mattress one. And you hold me, and we are broken. Still it's solid, I wanna get a chance to live, and I feel myself heavy off the ground. I'm scared, I'm not coming down. No, no, and I won't run from my life. She's got the thoughts now locked down in a smile, but nothing is alright, alright. And I want something else to get me through this life, baby. I want something else. Not listening when you say I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I would understand. I would understand. The angry boy, a bit too insane, icing over a secret pain. You know you don't belong. but faith in nothing. Wanna put my tender heart in a blender, watch it spin round to a beautiful oblivion. Rendezvous, then I'm through with you. I burn like a wicker cabinet, chalk white and oh so frail. I see our time has gotten stale. The tick-tock of the clock is painful, all sane and logical. I wanna tear it off the wall. I hear words in clips and phrases, I think sick like ginger ale. My stomach turns and I exhale. I would swallow my pride, I would choke on the rhymes, but the lack thereof when they nail me inside. I would swallow my doubt, turn it inside out, find nothing but faith in nothing. I wanna put my tender heart in a blender, watch it spin around to a beautiful oblivion. Rendezvous, then I'm through with you. SoCal is where my mind stays, but it's not my state of mind. I'm not as ugly sad as you. Or am I origami, folded up and just pretend, demented as the motives in your head. I would swallow my pride, I would choke on the rhymes, but the lack thereof when they hit me inside. I would swallow my doubt, turn it inside out, find nothing but faith in nothing. I wanna put my tender heart in a blender, watch it spin around to a beautiful oblivion. Rendezvous, then I'm through with you. I alone am the one you don't know. You need to take heed, feed your ego, make me blind. Drag the waters to the depths, give up their dead. What did you expect to find? Was it something you left behind? Don't you remember anything I said when I said, don't fall away, leave me to myself, don't fall away, and leave life bleeding in my hands again. Leave life bleeding in my hands, life lies vacant lines over and over and over again. She cries, don't fall away, leave me to myself, don't fall away, leave love bleeding in my hands again, leave love bleeding in my hands, love lies bleeding. And I wanted you turned away. You don't remember, but I do. You never even tried. Don't fall away, leave me to myself. Don't fall away, leave love bleeding in my hands again. Leave love bleeding in my hands again. Leave love bleeding in my hands again. She calls me from the cold, just when I was low, feeling short of stable. All that she intends, and all she keeps inside is in on the label. She says she's ashamed. Can she take me for a while? Can I be a friend? We'll forget the past, or maybe I'm not able, and I break at the bend. We're here and now, will we ever be again? 'Cause I have found all that shimmers in this world is sure to fade away again. She drinks a champagne dream, strawberries of her eyes, think linen on white paper, lavender and cream, fills up butterflies, reality escapes her. She says that love is for fools that fall behind, and I'm somewhere between. I never Send away for a priceless gift. One not subtle, one not on the list. Send away for a perfect world. One not simply so absurd. In these times of doing what you're told, keep these feelings no one knows. Whatever happened to the young man's heart, swallowed by pain as he slowly fell apart. And I'm staring down the barrel of a 45, swimming through the ashes of another life. No real reason to accept the way things have changed. Staring down the barrel of a 45. Send a message to the unborn child. Keep your eyes open for a while. In a box high up on the shelf, left for you, no one else. There's a piece of a puzzle known as life, wrapped in guilt, sealed up tight. Whatever happened to the young man's heart, swallowed by pain as he slowly fell apart. And I'm staring down the barrel of a 45, swimming through the ashes of another life. No real reason to accept the way things have changed. Staring down the barrel of a 45. Everyone's pointing their fingers, always condemning me. Nobody knows what I believe. And I'm staring down the barrel of a 45, swimming through the ashes of another life. No real reason to accept the way things have changed. Staring down the barrel of a 45. And I'm staring down the barrel of a 45. And I'm swimming through the ashes of another life. There is no real reason to accept the way things have changed. Staring down the barrel of a 45. Well, I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time. But I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. After all, I knew it had to be something to do with you. I really don't mind what happens now and then, as long as guess you'll be my friend at the end. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman, my kryptonite. You call me strong, you call me weak, but still your secrets I will keep. Took for granted all the times I never let you down. You stumbled in and bumped your head. If not for me, then you'd be dead. I picked you up, put you back on solid ground. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman, my kryptonite. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman, my kryptonite. Yeah! If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman, my kryptonite.
People just don't see how much work is really involved in this rap shit. I didn't know it. I didn't see it. I never saw it until I was actually in it. You really gotta be in it to understand what it's like. But you always gotta, people always gotta see you smile. You always gotta put on that fake, you know what I'm saying? Like no matter what you just
So
been
you
through,
wanna be a rap
shit has gotta be
superstar
right.
and live large, big house, 5 cars, you're in charge. Coming up in the world, don't trust nobody. Gotta look over your shoulder constantly. I remember the days when I was a young kid growing up, looking in the mirror, dreaming about blowing up. The rock crowd, make money, chill with the honeys, sign autographs and whatever the people want from me. Shit's funny how impossible dreams manifest in the games that be coming with it. Nevertheless, you got to go for the gusto, but you don't know about the blood, sweat, and tears, and losing some of your peers, and losing some of yourself through the years past gone by. Hopefully it don't manifest, but the wrong guy, egomaniac in the brainiac, don't know how to act. Shit's deep, 48 tracks, studio gangsta max, sign the deal. Dixie's gonna make a meal, but never will till he crosses over steel, filling your head with fantasies. Come with me, show the sacrifice it takes to make the cheese. You wanna be a rap superstar in the biz and take shit from people who don't know what it is. I wish it was all fun and games, but the price of fame is high, and some can't pay the way. Still trapped in what you rapping about. Tell me what happened when you lost clap. The route you took started collapsing. No fans, no fame, no respect, no change, no women, and everybody shits on your name. You wanna be a rap superstar and live large, a big house, 5 cars, you're in charge. Coming up in the world, don't trust nobody. Gotta look over your shoulder constantly to be a rap superstar and live large, a big house, 5 cars, you're in charge. Coming up in the world, don't trust nobody. Gotta look over your shoulder constantly.
When you sign to a record label, you don't know you
sign your life over. And these white boys don't care about you, cause the minute you fall off, they'll find another Noriega, and they'll find another Capone Noriega, and they'll find another Be Real. So you need to just keep stacking chips up, do what you gotta do while you hot, and motherfucking get out the game. Just like the drug game, it's even worse, because in the drug game, if somebody jerk you, you can shoot them and kill them. And if you, in this game, if somebody jerk you, you gotta be humble.
No matter what you just been through, shit has gotta be right. You gotta approach people, you gotta be on the up and up, and everything's gotta be all good. When you see somebody, slap hands with them, you know what I'm saying, give them a pound or whatever it is, you know, but you always gotta act like ain't shit.
So you wanna be a rap superstar and live large, a big house, 5 cars, you're in charge, coming up in the world, don't trust nobody, gotta look over your shoulder constantly to be a rap superstar and live large, a big house, 5 cars, you're in charge, coming up in the world, don't trust nobody, gotta look over your shoulder constantly. My own son don't know me, I'm chilling in the hotel room lonely, but I thank God I'm with my homies. But sometimes I wish I was back home, but only no radio or videos gonna show me no love. The phony gotta hit the road solely, so the record gets pushed by Sony. I'm in the middle like Moni, and the press say that my own people disown me, and the best way back is to keep your head straight, never inflate the cranium. You're too worried about them honeys at the Palladium who just wanna cling on, swing on, and so on. Go
Hey, Josh. You mad? How mad are you, bro?
Say no. Open up your head, feel the shell shock. This is dangerous. I walk through my bills and watch your head rock.
I walk
through minefields, yeah. Pressure. Josh felt the pressure. Everybody on the Patreon page gets a mod wrench, Sean. Everybody that tunes into the Patreon live streams on Saturday, that's who gets the mods. Except for Matty Sims. I don't know how he has a wrench. Hey, Josh, if you're still listening, and I'm pretty sure that you are, can I see your tongue ring? Is it rusty?
Hey, we finna do a song called Tongue Ring. Let me see your tongue ring. Is it rusty? Let me feel your tongue ring. 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 Me and my nigga train your bitch, stole a purse and stain your bitch. All you did was take a shop and bought expensive clothes to fit. Kissing at the mall of milk, holding hands and love and shit. Hope you ain't on ecstasy. Don't you know she used to trick? Open the door, your public press to take your time to fucking sex her. Never will I wear that sweater. No one she be chewing pecker. All my boys, the more the better. Not a week, but when you met her, Mrs. Swallows what she asked. That's if you gon' eat that nigga what? What the fuck? I'm all about the freaking hoes that like the suck. The bras with that booty blowing. That is the business. I let the candy camera for show be my witness. The boys with their cap rocking. Get around with the boys with their cap rocking. Dress some crown with me niggas with some videos. Some college hoes. They playing hard to get, but they are freaky. Let me feel your tongue ring. 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 Let me feel your tongue ring.
I be fucking this nigga, straight corrupting this nigga. Pussy wet as a river, you need a boat for me, nigga. I be hot as a fire. Oh my God, I'm on fire. I be telling these boys I do my thing when I'm higher. Come on, baby, just lay there. Go to bed with me, baby. I be triple the playing, the triple pleasure. I'm saying I be coming with ya. If you freaky like me, if you freaky, I'm sneaky. Hey, undercover, watch me. Strawberries and ice, not the ice on your wrist. Got you niggas dick bricks. See me rubbing my click, rubbing my click, sucking my tits. Camcorder got me starring high in my first flick. I be major with mine. I don't fuck all the time. I don't need you, please believe it, nigga. Only when I'm in the mood for a quick ride on the dick. Throw a razor in my mouth, straight slicing your shit, nigga.
Let me feel your tongue ring. 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 This bitch that hoe. Let me see your pussy hole. Soaking fucking wet. Nigga tryna place a bet on these freaky hood rat type of hoe. Nigga, don't you know all hoes go easy? Fucking come easy. Fucking go CB. Nigga fucking hoe by the train, bro. All nigga aboard, take off your fucking hat. Let these hoes put cap in your lap, jack.
Bonafide pleasure girl, licking every measure girl, trying to find the treasure girl. Nigga, it's whatever girl. Bitch, you take you around the world. Lick your dick, a tongue will twirl. Alternate your toes will curl, and then your dick will start to curl. Look like fucker in the butt. Nigga, it ain't hard to cut. Lay that till she sitting up, just waiting to lick a nigga nuts. Quickly getting naked. Skin on dick, she stretchy. Pussy staying wet, and she loves when niggas red get.
The ditty bitches, pretty bitches, freaky bitches, the better sticky bitches. Granulars and all on the floor, watching them going bitches. Hoeing bitches, blowing bitches, mad at the stolen bitches. Flowing bitches, also the rolling bitches, scary bitches. Petty bitches, hairy bitches, even the smelly bitches. Red bitches, beating but daddy bitches, say what? Just tell them the slogan bitches about the news. Bruise on my blue sweat boots, son of a bitch, you gon' feel the news. A T-Todd! Remix, 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 remix. So I'm outside of the club and you think I'm a pawn.
Josh. Come on back, Josh. We got something for you.
ass nigga slide, dog. You get beat dead, that means you dead meat. I've been on Wall Street, Beach Street, Greg Street. That's Dallas, Atlanta. I style with them hammers. I wow with your nana. Doggy style on the hamper. You'll get ripped apart, that's it with darts. You kids ain't smart. Pop, 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 I lit the dark. I'm the wizard dog, come get some heart. That's courage and brain. Kane on several strips. Not from Houston, but shit, call me Little Flip. Cause I flip a little for shizzle. You flipping nickels. When I flip coke and flip boats, come live a little. And you best be knowing pussy still is the best thing going. Any extra don't come invest in home. But I clap that boy, kidnap and rap that boy. We ready. I'm a bastard boy like Pastor Troy, but I'm stone sucker with my nigga Bone Crusher. Baby, we like the bone, all our chicks are bone crushers. We got guns and coops in case I sun the roof. No basketball when we talking running short.
Hey yo, the 40 cows falling, I'm waiting no matter what county I'm in. D-cab, car full with no Clayton. Wow, baby, you know who it is, the kiss of death. The world was sucker free, it just be me and my niggas left. I ain't never scared, I got big hammers everywhere. In places where you need your passport at, I'm heavy there. It's time we get even here. When I put the game back in its proper perspective, this time leave it there. You could think what you want till I blow the back of your brains out and see if you could think with your front. Like a new single, make sure you leak for a month. Treat your face like a buffet and tell my niggas eat what you want. You don't know nothing about pouring a couple $100,000 on the table and tell your niggas keep what you want. It's usually hate or something stupid that a nigga die for. So what you think we outside for?
Now all my soldiers, thugs, niggas, I know you want it. Don't stop, get it. Bitches better get up on it. Sit up on it, shout it, get up on it. See when I spit up on it, shit up all over niggas like a Harley pickup. When I throw a kid up on it, pick up all of my niggas that ain't scared of the hustle. Throw another mill up on it. I'ma cop a lot of land and I'ma cop a mountain and throw a little crib up on it. Yes, I eat your food and you know I'm gonna chow down. Motherfucker, all your niggas better bow down. Motherfucker, before I had to come in. Motherfucker, I ain't playing with you. Before I let my niggas touch you. It's a must that we gotta rush you. Shatter bones in your body when I bust a hollow bone crusher. Let me spell it out for you, homie. I hope you came prepared. Cause I don't care if you live or phony, cause we ain't never scared. Flip mode in the dirty South, niggas know what's up. Cause we got you open, dude. Fuck that, make a little sucker nigga pull on their back. Laying stiffer than a frozen food. To stop me, you have to hit cake in the bagger. Or watch niggas acknowledge the general and all. So I'm outside of the club, anything I will fall. So I go to my loaded tank, 9 that's open the trunk. I told it, motherfucker, I ain't never scared.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. From the gang called niggas with attitudes. When I'm called off, I got a sawed off. Squeeze the trigger and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you fuck with me. The police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out. For the punk motherfuckers that's showing out. Niggas start to mumble, they wanna rumble. Mix them and cook them in a pot like gumbo. Going off on the motherfucker like that. With a gat that's pointed at your ass. So give it up smooth. Ain't no telling when I'm down for a jack move. Here's a murder rap to keep ya dancing. With a crime record like Charles Manson. AK-47 is a tool. Don't make me act a motherfucking fool. Me and you can go toe to toe, no mate. I'm knocking niggas out the box daily. Yo, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Until them dumb motherfuckers see clearly that I'm down with the capital CPT. Boy, you can't fuck with me. So when I'm in your neighborhood, you better duck. Cause Uncle Lou is crazy as fuck. As I leave, believe I'm starving. But when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of Compton.
What's up?
Tell them where you from.
Straight out of Compton, another crazy ass nigga. When punks I smoke, yo, my rep gets bigger. I'm a bad motherfucker and you know this. But the pussy ass niggas won't show this. But I don't give a fuck, I'ma make my snaps. If not from the records, from jacking a crotch, it's like burglary. The definition is jacking. Or when illegally armed, it's called packing. Shoot a motherfucker in a minute. Or find a good piece of pussy and go up in it. So if you had a show in the front row, I'ma call you a bitch or a dirty ass hoe. You probably get mad like a
Attitude legit, cause I'm tearing up shit. MC Ren controls are automatic. For any dumb motherfucker, it starts static. Not a right hand, cause I'm the hand itself. Every time I pull an AK off the shelf, the security is maximum, and that's a law. R-E-N spells red, but I'm wrong. See, cause I'm the motherfucking villain. The definition is clear, you're the witness of a killing that's taking place without a clue. And once you're on the scope, your ass is through. Look, you might take it as a trip, but a nigga like Ren is on the gangster tip, straight out of Compton. 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 Easy as his name and the boys coming
Straight out of Compton is a brother that'll smother your mother and make your sister think I love her. Dangerous motherfucker raising hell, and if I ever get caught, I make bail. See, I don't give a fuck. That's the problem. I see a motherfucking cop, I don't dodge him, but I'm smart, lay low, creep a while, and when I see a punk pass, I smile. To me, it's kind of funny. The attitude show a nigga driving, but don't know where the fuck he going, just rolling, looking for the one they call easy. But here's a flash that never sees me, ruthless, never seen like a shadow in the dark. Except when I unload, you see a spark and jump over hesitation, and hear the scream of the one who caught the lead penetration. Feel a little gust of wind and I'm jetting. Believe a memory, no one I'll be forgetting. So what about the bitch who got shot? Fucker, you think I give a damn about a bitch? I ain't a sucker. This is an autobiography of the E, and if you ever fuck with me, you get taken by a stupid dope brother who will smother.
Word to the motherfucker, straight out of Compton.
Compton. Compton.
Money counting brother, and I hate polyester. Walking on the wild side, pulling gold snaps. I know you're getting jealous cause I got it like that. Cruise Broadway on my cellular phone, spend $100,000 on a brand new home. Dog in the front, guard fence in the back. Freak by my side in the feline hat, that's ripping. Rip this. Rolling in the Nissan, kicking my beats with my girl by my side, looking oh so sweet. Got feel on my feet and gold on my neck. Cold, carry cash and I never write check. Bankroll so big I can hardly hold it. You once had a dream that your grandma stole it. Punched in the eye and took my bank back. You ever wonder why I'm like that? Cause I'm ripping. Now that's ripping. Yeah, you like this beat, but it's time to change. Not gonna get ill, but I'm gonna get strange. Push your partner, throw him in the aisle. Gonna kick it live with a square dance style.
I'm a rhythm mother, that's my last name. When I get wild, freaks go insane. Rip it to the left and I rip it to the right. Gonna bust hardcore on my freaks tonight. Grab your partner, get up in his face. Homegirl, put the sucker in his place. 7 days a week, I'm on vacation. Let's get live with the kid sensation.
hit you with a new fresh rhyme. All the fly chicks hanging on our tip. Keep the girlies calm with my bull whip. All second DJs I will swat. All ill hip hopping with mix a lot. There's girls that'll dance and girls that won't, 'cause this jam rips and other ones don't. It's ripping. That's ripping. Rolling down the avenue, picking up points. I like to count bank, but I don't roll joints. I'm a hardcore B-boy sitting on the throne, never hanging on the ad, just kicking at home. Girlies in Cal like to feel my beats. Great big kick drums get more free. Some sucker MCs say they can't feel it, but I bet you be happy if I let you steal it. That's ripping. That's ripping. That's ripping. I'm your Testarossa first. Yeah, watch me go, keep 'em in fear. Rumble, young man, rumble, brother won't fumble. Motherfuckers just crumble, gas gets drank, rappers get spanked, stripes get yanked, my superior rank. Most cops were jocking some American car, using lyrical radar, but I'm rolling, the cartel's tolling, so the D's keep folding. Most Cadillac rappers get left in a stirb by the jet black blur. Me, the Testarossa, running like a supposed to. Don't try to get close up, 'cause you might get lost in a dual exhaust. Don't ever try to fuck with a boss. High octane, there ain't no ping when I swing on a lyrical speed king, and that's just first gear. Listen for the upshift. Who can get with this? I'm your Testarossa. Black Testarossa. Rocked in a jet black Testarossa. Rocked in a jet black Testarossa. Rocked in a jet black Testarossa. Yeah, look here, queer. I'm in here, hidden like spears. The rhyme cartel slangs legalized dope. Some cope, others get boss on the bosses. Finishes flawless. 12 cylinders, listen to the horses. Accelerate smooth, move or else get moved. Run for cover, my brother suckers are getting smothered. The clutter you others mother is rammed in a gutter. My rep is kept, my motherfuckers must step. The best get swept and left out to rest. Look at that air intake, second gear, passing fakes. Revolutions per lyric get higher. How can I chill when my rhyme's on fire? As I approach the end of my tack, my lyrical horsepower blows to the max. Red line is reaching the peak of my speech, and I told ya, I'm your Testarossa. Testarossa. Gear number 3, get off the clutch and don't let them up. Keep them all down on these young bucks. Let them know the big boss is just a bit quicker. Get the picture, back talk tolerated none. Son left you at the gun when I hit gear 1. Now I'm in 3rd and you think that's quick? Huh. Wait till I hit 5th. Me and my pack, we keep plenty of snack packs. You said fat, now I'm yo to the max. Rock mix a lot for your next attack. Now yo, critical mass.
Yeah, I got you back.
260 pounds of pure pain. Critical mass, my homeboy's name. My personal trainer, taking weight gain. I got the bulk to crush and contain ya. On the track, I'm like a wind axe. Cutting up air like Boeing's aircraft. Time to shift and let my lyrical seatbelt hold ya. I'm your Testarossa.
Down the street. Rolling down the street. Rolling down the street. Rolling down the street.
Up to 4th gear, the speed increased. Police got beef with the word chief. Move or lose, I excuse the whack dudes. You light my fuse and clear out or get used. I go 155, no need to lip sync. Get busy. Sir Mix-a-Lot Ray, the ultimate freak. So cute in a suit, my beats concede. Intelligent freak, wardrobe complete. You can fold my robe if you be my freak. I got a big Cadillac with the bass in the back. Try to take my freak, boy, you must be whacked. Bicep flex, so kiss my neck. Buying pounds of gold with royalty checks. And I'm Swaz.
Don't you wish your boyfriend was Swaz like me? Swaz. Don't I'm the king of the beat in the great Northwest. Clocking more dollars than Chase Manhattan. After each show, my billfold fattens. Yup. My phone be ringing like you wish yours would. But my girl stays cool cause she looks so good. Punk mother, call me weak. Just turn up the bass and feel this beat. Feel my bass drum.
Stomach, get silly swat. Stomach, get silly swat. Stomach, get silly swat. Stomach, get silly swat. Oxylus, skim up. Oxylus, skim up. Oxylus, skim up. Oxylus, skim up.
Now the ground be shaking when my bass drum's breaking.
Stomach, get silly swat.
Suckers in the crowd think the boy be faking.
Oxylus, skim up.
Now put this beat in your Nissan truck.
Stomach, get silly swat.
But don't start crying when your whoopers get stuck.
Oxylus,
check it out. Get bigger. I will spank. I'm a freak and I know it, so why not show it? I design my rhymes like a worldwide poet. New freaks every week in my contract. So cold with a rap, you'll get contact. Innovative beats with a brand new twist. But don't you wish your man could rock like this? Break it down.
Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me?
$80 slippers to wash my car. It attracts more freaks than a beach lifeguard. Imitate me, it can bring about pain. Better wear dark shades when you look at my chain. Swaps, points, no deduction. I come complete with freak instructions. I work for myself, don't have no boss. Boy, you gotta have brains if you wanna be suave. And I'm suave.
You know I want to knock your teeth. Oh, mix it like you know I want to knock your teeth. Oh, mix it like you know I want to knock your teeth. Oh, mix it like you know I want to knock your teeth.
Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me?